All right, here we go. It is Cody and Gold on a Monday. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Mother's Day weekend in Kansas City. Had a lot going on. Good news on the sports front for the most part in KC. We'll talk Royals. KC Current got it done yesterday as well. Things are looking up. Royals will be back home this weekend, and it's going to be a fun weekend at the K, not only because the Royals are winning baseball, but you got the 2014 reunion happening this week. Thursday's the big gala, I think it is. It's an off day. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, bobbleheads for HDH throughout the weekend.
Which is awesome, obviously.
We're about a week away from our MacArthur 9th Infantry night out at Kauffman
Got the
Stadium.
save last night?
Got the save.
Who cares? Stop kidding about a solo shot, Royals fans. His job is to make sure they don't score 3.
Cody, I must have gotten 4 texts all at once, and I knew exactly what they were about. Mm-hmm. A couple of them were just simply ... It was right after the MacArthur home run that he gave up. And my response was, he's still going to get the save, and he did. He did. So let's take a step back. Everything continues. We march on with MacArthur. You guys have a good weekend. Drew, we'll get to your weekend. You were busy, man, moving around and everything. You're settled. New place?
Yes, officially settled. It's
nice.
It's good.
Drew's a KCK, Wyandotte County resident now.
Wyco, huh?
That's right, yes.
Got the new spot.
Very happily so. Fully moved in.
He's trying to get over there before the Chiefs move, right?
Yeah, he's like getting ahead of the curve.
He's
like way ahead of the curve.
I think Drew tried to lock in a 6-year lease so they can't raise his rent. Can't raise his rent if they end up having a football stadium out there. Yeah, enjoy it.
Ideally, you don't have to threaten to leave this place like the last one, you know?
Yeah, glad you're out of that mess that you guys were dealing with. That sucks, man. So I'm glad you guys got a good place. We'll talk about where you were at on Friday here in about 20 minutes. You were at Twin Peaks.
I was.
Anybody that was on social media Friday night is well aware
Seemed like it
of
went
that.
great.
Seems like it was a great time. Raised some money for first responders. Obviously, a lot of scenic views that Drew took in as well. And so you put out a video that we must discuss. I promised people on Friday that we would 100% discuss it today. We're going to in just a little bit. But this morning, I woke up to, I'm sure as most of you did, maybe if you check social media, all of a sudden we got some schedule news for the Chiefs. The full schedule coming out Wednesday, 7:30, I think is the official time. We all know how this game is played. It's going to leak out. But we know the week 1 opponent. A lot of speculation. You know, Texans were kind of the favorite to be the week 1 opponent. We mentioned, well, if it's not the Texans, maybe Cincinnati. No, it's the Baltimore Ravens. So a rematch of the AFC title game to kick things off. The Ravens get to watch another banner go up at Arrowhead.
Boy, they're rubbing. And look, the Chiefs don't choose who they're rubbing it in the face of, but they'll be rubbing it in the face of the Ravens. Certainly a team who came up short against them in a title game. I was a little bit surprised it was the Ravens. Because, you know, the Texans seemed like the most logical fit. And then I had tossed in a late contender last week where I thought, hey, what about the Chargers? What if you kicked that around because they love them some Harbaugh? Maybe that would make some sense. But I like the matchup. As surprised as I am, this is a fun way to open up the season and an immediate test for you. No Charles Omenihu. Maybe no Rashee Rice. We'll see. You've got some missing elements of your offense. Maybe some missing elements of your, you're mixed in there, and this is the team that you took down to do it. And then it's just a chance for the Chiefs to either prove, okay, yep, we're going to be a problem again this year, because I think it's fairly obvious the Ravens are one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the entire NFL. Seems great to me. I'm surprised they put such a big game on the opener, though. I thought they'd save that one for Sunday Night Football in November.
So when we were going through this, I didn't think it was going to be the Texans because they want to save Stroud and Mahomes for later when they're going for a number 1 seed. But I also thought, okay, they're going to put Cincinnati, or maybe even gets worse, as you were saying, and they pick one of the NFC South games or something.
Yeah, they went the Lions last year.
Because people are watching Week 1, Thursday night opener, no matter what. Everybody's football starved at that point. It's Thursday night. The ratings are massive. Now you add in the fact, though, that it is the rematch of the AFC title game, and you got all the MVPs between Mahomes and Lamar Jackson at this point in time, and the drama of the win and the Zay Flowers fumble, the Justin Tucker incident.
Pregame when he's just leaving his helmet in the way and Travis tossed it to the side?
Yeah, and that adds to it, right?
If you're going to be a I promise you, I can one-up you every time. Dude.
That was Kelsey on the McAfee show, and he was asked about the ordeal where, of course, Justin Tucker, for some reason, felt like he had to set that tee at the goal line.
James Palmer reiterated this morning that in the locker room, they made it clear that lit a fire under their ass. Like, that was the way he put it, not me. That moment was like, okay, fine, Justin. If you're going to make a big thing about this, then move along. And also, why is he doing it? Why is he constantly warming up? He was obviously doing it this entire time as an intimidation tactic. He's like, well, I've been lining up here forever. Nobody else does it that way, man. Do your system differently. Figure out a different place to kick.
Never have I actually been more fascinated to see what warm-ups are going to be like for a football game than now. That Thursday night at Arrowhead when Justin Tucker, who's still the kicker, obviously, for the Ravens, and Mahomes is throwing. Does Tucker intentionally try to do it again, or does he? Do they just like laugh about it now? Can they?
Sure.
Be farther enough
little
removed
heat
that
comes off.
They can be like, he could fake that he's going to put it there, and they can have a good laugh, and they can move on. I would hope that that's what happens, because otherwise,
I want the viscera.
If Tucker goes and tries to do the exact same thing again, then there might be legit some shoves, happening from not from Mahomes, but some other teammates might step in. Whatever works for motivation, but no, I mean it's going to be a great matchup. Mahomes 3-1 in the regular season, 4-1 overall against Lamar, so they can sell it as that. Lamar or Jackson versus Mahomes, but Mahomes has dominated Lamar Jackson. And if you're the Ravens from a psychological standpoint, I know it's week 1, and yes, the Chiefs lost last time week 1 to the Lions. But if you lost the AFC title game and you're building the Chiefs, and then they went on to win, they're going for the 3-peat.
And then your first game of the season,
you lose the Chiefs again, knowing that you probably are going to have to play them again in the postseason. Like, there's a huge mental edge that the Chiefs could gain just like that.
You got to end my season in the worst possible way, obviously losing in the postseason, and then I got to start my season in a bad way too by losing it. Look, it's a huge matchup. This is, of all the openers the Chiefs have had in their Super Bowl era, which is a lot, seemingly lately. This is the third time they have the opener. This is the toughest matchup. Now, look, the Lions won. We weren't totally sure what that was going to look like later in the year. And obviously, in retrospect, that was a very good Lions team. But to have, I would argue, the second, it just depends on your flavor. They are either the second best team in the AFC or the third best team in the AFC. They are toe for toe with the Chiefs going into the year. They might actually be one of the teams right near the same favorite line odds as the Chiefs. I know the 49ers have better odds because they seemingly do going into the year each of the last couple of years. But the Ravens are right there. It's either, to me, it's like, do you like the Ravens or the Bills better? One of those two teams is the second best team alongside the Chiefs, right? And so to have that kind of matchup, it feels nice. Honestly, you want to look at it from just a competitive standpoint, we talk about net rest and all this stuff. The Chiefs are going to get one of their most difficult games out of the way and then get 10 days rest before they got to play again. Great. 10 days rest after one of your most difficult games? Hell yeah. That sounds perfect to me. Dream scenario.
Wednesday night, we'll find out the full schedule, and maybe even tomorrow stuff starts to leak out more, because you always wonder, everybody goes through that first month of the season in particular to try to figure out, how can you get off to a good start or whatever it may be. You play a tough team like the Ravens. They're a tough schedule to begin with, but is that when you get a break the week 2? You go to divisional, or do you get stuck with maybe the Bucs in week 2? So you play the Ravens, and then you get what is viewed as an easier opponent in week 2, or is it just a brutal gauntlet the first month where it's Ravens, and then week 2, guess what? You get to go play the Chargers, and week 3 you get to go and play Cincinnati. Like, is it going to be brutal like that? It's pretty clear now, don't you think? The Texans and Chiefs game is going to be much later in the year. Do you think they're going to intentionally do that? I don't know if it's a Sunday night game or it'll be a CBS Jim Nantz Romo 3:30 kickoff. But that Stroud and Mahomes is either going to be primetime or what we view as kind of the secure slot with the CBS at some point.
I think they'll want to set up, just like they have in every other year, now, look, Lamar in Kansas City was like week 4. You remember the one you went to in Baltimore. It wasn't like super late in the season.
Sunday night game, though.
Yeah, it was a Sunday night, but it was an early season Sunday night game. The thing about the Chiefs' schedule right now is that they can't, they can only stash so many games late, Fair. As much as I think, and I think that they'll put the Texans one late because they'll want a fresh, opponent late that gives them a challenge. But, somewhere on the schedule will be Cincinnati, as you had previously mentioned, the Chargers at home or on the road, Buffalo, the 49ers, the Texans. They got all the big boys in the NFL on the schedule this year.
Have they announced all the international yet? We know that Friday game after the Chiefs Thursday
I don't think
night,
they've announced the rest
Friday
yet.
In Brazil will be the Eagles and the Packers. I know that based on the scheduling, the only chance the Chiefs would have playing internationally again, right? Wouldn't that be Carolina on the road? That's the only way the Chiefs will be in an international game this year, if I'm not mistaken, looking at their opponents and the way the NFL's gone about the international schedule. I think the only chance is if the Carolina game became an international game when the Chiefs were on the road, which if they're on the road, I don't think anybody cares. It's always when your home game gets taken away if you're a season ticket holder.
I've also just let that go anyway because you used to get 8 regular season home games and you still get 8 regular season home games. When they added those games, and by the way, when they had the 18th, I'm viewing it the identical way. My assumption is that every single year, once they get this thing sorted out, you will still get 8 games on the road, 8 games at home, and 2 international games that are neutral site games, essentially, every single schedule, especially if you're the Chiefs. You won't get the extra road game. You won't get the extra home game. You will just get 8 at home, 8 on the road, and then one of your opponents will travel and the other one will. They have announced some of the teams that are hosting the international games like you'd mentioned, but no, they have not announced the opponents to go with it. So the Bears will be in London, the Vikings will be in London, the Jags will be in London. We don't know their matchup, and as you pointed out, the Panthers will be in Munich.
That's the only one where they could get.
Take on.
That's the only one that could cause the Chiefs to have to play internationally again if the Panthers game ends up being the one where Kansas City ends up actually not going to Charlotte, but ends up going to Munich. But it's fun to at least now have week 1 figured out. I think for a lot of people, that's always just another way of the NFL builds up the hype. I mean, they're not this
talking
entire
about just
week.
one game.
This entire week now, everybody's going to be talking about schedules, and people could start planning out their falls a little bit once we get that. And what's the road trip you want to go on? For us, too, I mean, we hope to be able to keep an eye on what the Raiders game is going to be just in Vegas. We've joked about this for the last couple of years. It's always fallen on a holiday weekend.
And we'd like to go out as a show.
The one in Vegas. We've got potentially some stuff that we might be able to do if the Chiefs-Raiders game in Vegas is actually not on a holiday weekend, and if it's just a normal fall Sunday in the NFL. So if you're asking me what am I looking for, that's actually one of the first things I'm going to be checking on Wednesday night.
What about the Hollywood Brown revenge game?
Yeah, but it's been a couple of years since he was in Baltimore.
I know.
You know, I mean, he'll be asked about it, no question. But I don't know. It's been enough years. He
knows everything about their offense.
That's right.
The Ravens are screwed.
They have a new OC. And
we always
everything.
overplay that by a lot. Like NFL playbooks have a lot of crossover. They just do. And a lot of these players move throughout the league. There's not some advantage, but teams still do it. They still bring in some like practice squad player off the Chiefs roster and be like, all right, tell us about that playbook. Like they're going to figure it all out.
Coming up in 20 minutes, we'll get to who's off the board and will not be coming to Kansas City for this upcoming Chiefs football season. But on the diamond, the Royals were out west taking on the Angels. For a while, it looked like maybe they had a chance they're going to sweep the Angels. They end up taking
a 4-game series.
3 of 4, which you're going to take that every single time.
That's correct.
The Royals are 8 games above 500. They are still right there, about a half game back or so. A game back, I guess, of the Guardians.
No, half.
It is a half, yeah, of the Guardians in the AL Central. And we've been, before the season, focused in so much on Cole Ragans. We'll get to him in a second. Seth Lugo is
unstoppable.
Unstoppable. He's got the best ERA in the American League. He's one of the
wins in the American
4
League?
best pitchers in baseball right now. And if you were to ask very early look at, who's going to be the all-star reps for this team, Lugo, Salvi, and Bobby Witt Jr., lock them in, please.
Yeah,
that's what, never would have, you would have said Bobby, sure, Salvi, probably, maybe. Lugo, you would have been like, okay, come on now. That's a little bit much. Maybe Ragans. No, Seth Lugo has put himself in that spot. It's been sensational watching. I want to say, where did this come from? He was decent last year for the Padres, but this is a whole nother level.
No, and he started off the season, somebody had pointed out, right when his ERA was fine and all those things, but his strikeout numbers were way down the first 3 starts this year. People were like, 3, 4 starts. Like, I don't know, man. What happened to that old spin rate? And then people want to start making guesses about sticky stuff or any of the nonsense that comes with it. He has more strikeouts in his last 4, triple the number of strikeouts in his last 4 starts than he had in the first 4. He's been incredible. Seth Lugo has been the single, and I've said it before, but there's no doubt now, he's been the single best find in free agency across the board. I heard Vern this morning talking about how, originally when he had signed those things and it had the opt-outs in his contract, it's he's not likely to opt out of those because there's good money on the back end. If he keeps pitching like this, he'll have no choice but to opt out with a big pile of money waiting at the end of it for him. He has been every bit of as good of a starter as we thought maybe Ragans was going to be. And it's been a very pleasant surprise. I didn't know what to expect. Lugo, I thought, was more of an unknown than the Royals were talking about him. I was wrong in that, but he'd only started 1 time in the last 5 years. I didn't know he could do this again. This is even better than he was last year.
But that's also the conversation we had a week or so ago. Okay, on one hand, doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on the arm, and so you got a ton more innings in that arm, and you should feel great. On the other hand, in September, is he still is effective when maybe you're fighting for an AL Central Division title or something like that.
And all he did in his next start was have 12 strikeouts and go 8 innings.
I know. No, he's just been simply sensational. And what's changed is it's not just relying on the defense anymore. That was something we had discussed. Oh, he's pitching to his defense. Nothing wrong with that. That's a great thing. But now
Especially when we have the second best run saving defense in the league right now.
But now he's not just relying on defense, as you said, the strikeout numbers. I mean, he's going after guys, and he's getting them to swing and miss. It's been sensational. He's bumped up to 30-1 to win the American League Cy Young. He was 50 or 60,
something like that.
And he's still Cole Ragans still has the fifth best odds to win the Cy Young, despite him here recently. I don't want to say struggling, but there was natural regression before the season started. We went through each pitcher and we said, "Hey, what do you think's going to happen? What's a reasonable expectation?" And there, to me, was going to be some form of regression for Cole Ragans based off of how dominant it. Because, again, if he pitched the way he did once he joined the Royals the second half of last season, well, then he would far and away be the Cy Young in the American League. So he's regressed a little bit, but let's not confuse a little bit of regression to the mean with the guy that just is pitching poorly. I thought they probably left him out there a half inning too long, which made the numbers balloon a little bit and made that look far worse than what they needed. But he gave them 7 innings, but they probably got a little greedy with asking him to go out there for another half inning, and so therefore the numbers ballooned up on him. But I don't think you should be worried about Ragans, but this is regression that happens, and as dominant as he was in the second half last year, a variety of reasons why you're going to have some fallback to the mean.
He's had 2 bad starts. Outside of that, he's been every bit as dominant. Maybe this is silly. I am not worried about Cole Ragans in the least. So in the 8 games leading up to this, the previous 8 starts, he had a 3.38 ERA. He was still striking out 1 million people, and that was with one miserable start. Remember, he didn't even get out of the second inning in a start and gave up 7 earned runs. Now, look, I don't want to just nitpick and be like, in 7 of the 9 starts, he's got a 1 earned run average, because that's pretty much what it is. And instead, I'm just trying to point out to you that I think that the inconsistencies are not coming with he's not a pitcher who knows how to win. And I think instead coming from the idea that sometimes pitchers don't have it, and twice this year he hasn't had it and been able to solve it. That's it. I think in the previous 3 starts, by the way, in between those bad starts, he had a 2.04 earned run average and had gone 16 runs. I just think he's had 2 bad starts. I would make it almost that simple. He had a 1.93 ERA. He had a bad start. It went to 4.5. He got his ERA all the way down to 3.3. He had another bad start. It's 4.22. He's still dominating. It's not quite the same. That's a bad start. I'll just move on.
He's still top 10 in the big leagues in strikeouts, despite where his ERA may sit. He's still getting guys to swing and miss. And if you were to compare, towards the top of the league in terms of even home runs given up, he's given up 3 all year. So it's not like suddenly he's just given up the long ball and it's a problem or anything. It shouldn't be concerning. Seth Lugo is just, I think that's also what's making us view.
If Seth Lugo is just
wait a second. This is, if you were before the season.
If it was the other way around, we wouldn't care.
Correct.
Remember the offense-defense conversation we had with the Chiefs?
Mm-hmm.
One guy is pitching most of the time. I would say 80% of the time he's pitching is a well above league average pitcher. 80% of the time, that's what Cole Ragans is giving you. Maybe 90%. He has 2 bad starts, whatever. Then the rest of Seth Lugo's pitching at 100% of the time. What do I care the guy whose name on the back of the jersey is doing it? Lugo looked happy. Did you see his wife's tweet last night?
Yeah, basically, if you're going to miss, what was it? Paraphrasing, if you're going to miss Mother's Day, you better wreck or whatever.
It said, if you're going to miss Mother's Day for work, then you better work. W-E-R-K instead. You just have to read it in the right context.
It was something like that that she tweeted out. Don't forget, though, we've got our Let's Play Sports Equipment Drive going on, presented by Pinnacle Bank. Everything benefiting the Urban Youth Academy. They're looking for new, gently used softball, baseball equipment. It doesn't matter what it may be when it comes to sports equipment. Monetary donations can also be made at 610sports.com, and you can drop off some of those equipment at participating Gates barbecue locations. Go to 610sports.com for those. And you and I will also be out at the Urban Youth Academy coming up on Tuesday, May 21st, so a week from tomorrow, accepting items, and then also out at Kauffman Stadium on Wednesday, May 22nd. So let's support the Let's Play Sports Equipment Drive presented by Pinnacle Bank. Over the weekend, and yes, it was Mother's Day weekend. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Did some stuff with the family. Drew, Friday night, you chose to go to a bar. You chose to eat, drink, and see scenic
I didn't even
views.
Call his mom yesterday.
Mind you, I was no, I did actually. I called her, and we had a family FaceTime as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Yesterday.
All right, so you were at Twin Peaks. You were out there raising some money, right?
Yeah, we were doing an event for first responders, and every single Bud Light that is purchased, they give $1 away. It was good for charity, and yeah, it was a good 2 hours.
So you hung out there a little bit. Did Bree show up at all? Your wife?
No, she was not there.
Okay, but she knew you were going to be there.
Yes.
Okay, I only ask. So anytime we do remotes or whatever,
I did tell her.
anytime we do these, we put out maybe a video, right? Encouraging people to stop by, support a great cause, and that's what you did. You put out a video on social media. And it took off, man. It took off. Look at you going, you're just a viral sensation on Friday night,
I don't think it was me that everybody was.
I'll just play the audio. I encourage you to watch the video because
the facial expressions add to it.
There's a lot to the video. I mean, let me just play you in its entirety, and then we can break down. There's a few elements, not even all you. Just it was sensational.
All right, I'm rolling, and we can cut it when we need.
What's up, guys? This is Drew from 610 Sports Radio in KC. We're here at Twin Peaks. A lot of stuff going on. You can come out all the way up until 7 o'clock. They've got a lot of stuff going on. You get a chance to go to the Tigers game on Monday. All you got to do is give a little information to us. Then there's going to be a drawing. What you girls got going on though here, $1 for every single beer that is sold throughout the month of May. And the goal is $30,000, right? Is that? Yes. The goal is $30,000? Okay. $3.50 Bud Light aluminums, and then there's a $2 deal for the Bud Light stuff as well. What is that exactly? $2 for 22 ounces?
$2 for our Twin Peaks light beer.
Okay, sweet. Is there anything else that you have going on that you want to promote? Say you got something, some sort of event coming up?
Yes, we do. We have a bikini bash on the 23rd. So we'll be in all bikinis all day.
Fantastic. Again, come out here until 7 o'clock. You guys get a chance to go to the game against the Tigers on Monday here at Twin Peaks in Olathe.
So Drew's doing this video. To his left is a very nice lady. To his right's a very nice lady.
Did you get their names?
I couldn't tell you what they are right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So two very attractive women. It's Twin Peaks. So if you've been to Twin Peaks, they're wearing a little shorter top. Drew's there trying to play it cool. And the beginning of the video, we can start there. That wasn't on you.
So what happened? Why are you talking at the beginning?
All right, I'm rolling, and we can cut it when we need.
You guys didn't cut. You guys didn't cut it.
Shout out to Cam. I swear, I cut the video. I promise you. I went in after the video was taken. I went and I trimmed it, and I posted it. Evidently,
it doesn't appear as if you did.
I can't tell you.
I promise I went
Drew,
to do it.
I must have watched, and specifically this sequence right here, 8 different times on Friday. This part legit could not stop laughing out loud. This is the best part.
Yes, we do. We have a bikini bash on the 23rd. So we'll be in all bikinis all day.
Fantastic.
We'll be in bikinis all day. Fantastic. That's my favorite part of the whole video.
You guys would have said the same thing.
Fantastic.
We'll be in bikinis all day. Fantastic. I don't know what it is, dude. It's like, you look uncomfortable too. Have you ever been near a woman? Like, you look so so off-put.
Hang on.
And that's coming from a person who was very uncomfortable to like go to a strip club or whatever.
Going into the video, I was like, there's one thing that you need to do properly, and that's make eye contact. You got to be respectful of these ladies.
Okay.
Yes, I made eye contact very well, and it was applauded for it, as a matter of fact. On social media, so
good for you.
And then, I don't know if you guys or how many other listeners saw the second take, but
you had a second video.
We decided to lean in.
I think
a little
I have
bit.
it.
We decided to lean in a little bit more.
I think I have it. Now again, you kind of have to watch it. I don't know if the audio does it justice.
No.
What's up, guys? I'm here at Olathe. We're here at Twin Peaks. Been here for a couple hours, having a great time. I'm here with
Charity
and
Chloe.
And we're having a great time out here. We got $2 22-ounce Peaks Light specials, late night, and you also got a couple specials going on, right, ladies?
Yes.
What specials are those?
$2 well for a late night, and then
Okay.
we're also doing our bikini dress up starting on the 23rd.
Okay, fantastic. You guys missed out.
Fantastic again.
I was here at Twin Peaks.
He said fantastic a second time. Okay, fantastic. Your energy's better there. I'll give you that.
Well, okay, so the
It
premise.
sounds more natural. You guys seem less uncomfortable with each other.
Well, I think because so the first one, I guess both of them were first takes, I guess.
All day.
Fantastic.
But the second one, we wanted to lean into it a little bit more because of the response we were getting on social media for all of the awkwardness and everything. So if you haven't seen it, go to 610 Sports KC. It's on Twitter and Instagram. I intentionally lean up a little bit in the camera, and when I ask for the girls' names, they're looking at me the whole time. I'm looking straight at the camera, and I'm like, "What is your name is And your name is...
You're trying not to make eye contact.
Well, we were leaning in.
Trying to look at people, man. You can look at people. It's not...
We were leaning in to make it even more awkward. It wasn't like I was trying to...
What day is the full bikini bash again? What day is the bikini bash?
I'll be honest. I don't know.
I think it's Tuesday. The video
Fantastic.
said. Someone said, can we get Drew a polo that fits? Looks like he was swimming in that thing.
Hey.
Oh, man.
I loved it. Great job out there,
There's
man.
more to break down later. I don't want to. We barely scratched the surface.
We'll get to it,
okay.
but we promised people we would get to it fairly earlier in the show, and we did. But we'll get back to that a little bit later. Up next, though, someone that will not be in Kansas City, and it's not really fantastic that it's not happening. We'll explain.
Hey, it's Brady Singer. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
One of my favorite times of the year are here with the NBA playoffs. It's tipped off, but it's not too late to get in on the action with FanDuel because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150. You can bet on who you think is going to win an individual series, who's going to have 20 points tonight, who's going to knock down a couple of three-pointers. You even can predict who you think is going to win the NBA Finals. There's no better place to bet all the playoff action. We got an exciting NBA playoffs ahead, and you don't want to miss it with FanDuel. Use my promo code CDOT, FanDuel.com/CDOT to get started. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
We've all seen them. As soon as the big storm comes through, the storm-chasing roofers show up. Don't be a victim twice. Call locally owned, veteran-owned JR & Company. No one protects your home and you like JR.
JR's there for you. You're always better with a roof from JR.
In fact, JR & Company can let you know if you even need to be worried about storm damage. Online, visit jrhailcheck.com. Plug in your address and we'll pull a storm report. If there's nothing on the report, we'll give you hassle-free peace of mind. And if it looks like you got hit, we can come out and do a free inspection and help with any insurance claim. We'll never try to sell you a roof you don't need. But if you do need a new roof,
you're always better with a roof from JR.
Go to jrhailcheck.com.
Hey Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford in KCK. Get ready for our hail sale at Victory Ford right here at the Legends in KCK. We're slashing prices on new crew cab 4x4 F-150 starting at just $39,988. That's right, hail savings of thousands of dollars on every vehicle. Visit victoryfordkc.com to browse through hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles with hail damage, all discounted thousands of dollars. Remember, at Victory Ford, our first price is better than our last. Victory Ford, where the deals are always legendary.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
DQ presents how to officially start your summer. Step 1, head to the perfect spot to kick off the season, DQ. Step 2, try the new Summer Blizzard menu. I mean, summer is right there in the name. In Step 3, dig into flavors like new peanut butter cookie dough party, new picnic peach cobbler, and more. Because with treats like these, every bite feels like you're starting summer off right. But don't wait. These flavors are only around as long as summer is. Make the season official with the new Summer Blizzard menu, only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Did you hear? Macy's one-day sale is Tuesday with limited time specials to help you get ready for summer. Like 25 to 30% off active gear for him and for her. And 40 to 70% off shoes, handbags, and jewelry for the perfect look. Plus save 45 to 60% on dining and entertaining from Lennox, Fitz & Floyd, and more. Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. Savings off regular and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
We all know what UV rays can do to our skin, but they can also do damage to your car. Keep that from happening with 303 Protectant. 303 Protectant keeps the sun's harmful rays from causing fading and cracking in rubber, plastic, or vinyl surfaces. From the dashboard to the tires, 303 Protectant keeps your car looking new longer. Get 303 Protectant today at AutoZone. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
Hey, Rob Bradford here. I have set out on a mission with my good friends at FanDuel to prove what I have known for some time. Baseball isn't boring. Now I have a daily podcast to prove it with some of the most notable people in the baseball world, screaming baseball isn't boring from the mountaintops, or at least agreeing to come on our show. Players, managers, GMs, and yes, even the commissioner of baseball, Rob Manfred. It has been a constant wave of baseball's most powerful voices. So join the revolution. Subscribe and soak in Baseball Isn't Boring. Listen on your Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll be glad you did.
Just getting started here on Cody and Gold. Coming up in about 8 minutes. Why the pressure should maybe be turned up a notch when it comes to the Royals this upcoming season. We'll also, a little bit later on today in the 11 o'clock hour, get to one player in particular that is on track to get a massive payday in a couple of years, but it requires him doing a few things. We'll explain that situation coming up in just a little bit. You can keep your texts coming. I've enjoyed laughing at a few of them during the break in relation to Drew in Twin Peaks, which we'll get back into later on in the show. But we mentioned on Friday, it was the day after the visit for Zay Jones in Kansas City, like, hey, was there a chance that Zay Jones could sign with the Chiefs? Well, Friday afternoon, it became official that he was signing with the Arizona Cardinals. So he took 4 visits, Cowboys, Titans, Chiefs, Cardinals.
Not big money.
No, 1-year deal up to 4.2. So it's not much. That's only if he hits, every single incentive. So I don't know what the exact base salary is, but let's say it's $2 million base or something like that. I mean, it's not a lot of money. So it wasn't money why he didn't sign here. This sure seems like, hey, Arizona promised him, like, you can be our third receiver no matter what. Whereas here it's like, well, if Rice misses the season or half the season and this, like, probably way less of a defined role. The balance of, hey, if I'm going to sign a 1-year deal, playing with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is a great thing. But if I'm not going to be on the field, does that help me get a bigger payday next offseason? In his mind, the answer, I'm guessing, is no. So he chose to go to Arizona. And so the Chiefs did not get the insurance policy that I still think they need. And so I'm wondering now if we're just going to have to wait till camp and they make a trade if they don't like what they're seeing from Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney.
So the reason why I'm starting to think that might be plausible is it is going to be difficult to convince a player you can offer them, if they're taking less money, playing time. Because as it sits right now, where would you rank? Like, if you're Zay Jones and you roll in, Where are you if Rashee Rice only misses a couple of games, only misses 3 or 4 games? Because, again, the numbers seem to vary. Some people are out here warning you that the Chiefs are preparing as if it's an 8 or 10 game season. Pete, who's very dialed in, saying last week he still doesn't think it'd be that long, but a lot of people are just guessing at the length of the suspension. If it's only 4 games, and after 4 games, you are behind Travis Kelce, you're behind Hollywood Brown, you're behind Rashee Rice, and you might be behind Xavier Worthy, you might be behind Justin Watson. Like, you might be the 6th option. You might be the 5th option. Best case scenario. What most teams can offer, because the Chiefs are a little bit deeper at the moment than they have been in the last few years, is the best they can offer you is we'll get you some time for a while, but we can't promise it forever. Most teams can offer something better than that. And so until you get, either you can go bargain barrel shopping, I think, for teams that don't have as many teams interested in them, or you're going to have to wait. Like you said, you're going to have to wait for the player who doesn't want to sign until they're waiting for the injury or waiting for a Rashee Rice suspension to the point that they know, hey, I'm going to get 8 games. Yeah. Whether it be in the Chiefs 3 or 4, and I can give myself plenty of playing time that way.
During camp, you see how things are going with what you have in-house. I think that's what they do, but Treylon Burks, I'll go back to his name. We know in Tennessee, they got Ridley, they got Tyler Boyd, and DeAndre Hopkins. If they feel confident about their group, and those guys are healthy during
maybe they're
camp,
willing to move on.
Maybe you can get him a Burks addition. Whereas Burks, only like a 200-yard receiver last year. But insurance policy, it's another body to have in that maybe you can eventually rely on, because I know in-house they still feel like Kadarius Toney can help them and Sky Moore. But I mean, even if you want to go along with that, which most fans don't,
no,
that's I don't. Some people, there shouldn't even be a leash, but it's a short leash for each one. I mean, the minute, week 1 of the season, if somehow they do have to play Kadarius Toney and he has a big drop or he leads to,
we're done here.
I mean, I thought we were already there. I think most people were. But I mean, at that point, you can't even try to sell it anymore if you're the team. Who's out there still free agent-wise, if you were wondering? We go back to the Hunter Renfrow, Michael Thomas, MVS, and McCole Hardman.
Look, I still argue MVS just straight up, his role doesn't exist in the offense anymore.
Oh, see, I think that's McCole Hardman. I don't think his role exists.
I think it's the other way. That's what's funny.
I think they already, between
Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy are run straight down the middle players. They can do that tomorrow. No problem. What the hell do I need MVS for to do that?
I don't need him. I don't need McCole Hardman. I got if we want to just do some bubble screens, or we're going to do corn dog, by the way, that corn dog play, credit to McCole Hardman, right? But let's not act like he's the only player that could have successfally ran that play.
No, anybody could.
I mean, with all,
But I just think he's more versatile than MVS.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think his role is gone. I've seen McCole Hardman do more than one thing. That's why I feel like it's harder. I just think it's harder to eliminate his role. I also think the issue that you would mention, the argument you would make for MVS over McCole is what they'd be looking for right now is an X or a Y. They're looking for a wide receiver to line up on the outside of the formation. But honest to God,
I don't want either
Justin
one back.
Watson to do that. No, I'm not.
I don't
I'm
want
not pining for either.
Yeah, I mean, but now with what's left on the market, I mean, it's Renfrow, Thomas, MVS, and Hardman. This is why I think they wait till camp, see what they have, see where the injuries are at around the league, who maybe emerges and another team makes a cut, or you're able to find a trade on the cheap, and just roll through the rest of the offseason now.
As the text line points out, sometimes you and I, maybe, we might have a varied opinion on the wide receiver of this. Sometimes when we're describing the wide receiver, I think we might both accidentally be describing Michael Thomas. I don't think that's on purpose, or I just think we're talking about the type of wide receiver we think we need to fill the gap while Rashee Rice might miss some time for suspension. And when we start describing the things we don't want in a wide receiver, we're pretty much just accidentally describing Michael Thomas's skill set. Can you run 8 yards down the field, cut in, take a pass, and be done with it? We don't need the speed aspect. We don't need the explosion aspect. We're getting that in other areas. We are just looking for a wide receiver that, when given one-on-one coverage against a corner or a linebacker, can run a route to get open and get 10 to 12 yards, And in a way, that's pretty much what Michael Thomas did. And for the people who are saying Michael Thomas is washed, I will point out one thing about him. I'm not saying he's not kind of washed. He's definitely kind of washed. He had more receiving yardage than every other wide receiver on the Chiefs except Rashee Rice, and he played in 10 games. So
10 games, 448 yards last year.
448 yards would have been second on this team in receiving yardage, I'm pretty sure. That's more than Sky. That's more than Toney. That was more than MVS. And he played in 10 games. So he was at least more productive than
That was
a lot of the other Chiefs. All I need him is to play 10 games.
That's what I'm saying.
Are you kidding me?
That was him healthier. Even if he was less productive, he was healthy. I just think you can get Michael Thomas a month from now too. You know what I mean? I don't think now, because you brought in Zay Jones immediately for a visit, clearly to kick the tires there. Either that was because you already knew he was taking visits that week, so it made sense. Michael Thomas may not be taking any visits right now. Michael Thomas might be saying, you know what, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait. It's May 13th. I'm going to keep enjoying my offseason. There's no reason for me to do anything at this point in time. Whereas Zay Jones was already taking visits, happened to come out the same time as the Rashee Rice latest incident. And so it just made sense. Like, no, if you wanted Zay Jones, this was the time. He already, his agent said, hey, in the next week, we're going to make a decision on where we want to land. We're taking visits. So he took the 4 visits. He made his decision. Michael Thomas, Hunter Renfrow, those guys maybe just aren't taking visits right now for whatever reason. That could be part of it. I would just wait, man. I would just wait till training camp at this point, see who's available and what trade if you need to.
And then maybe by then you know how long the Rashee Rice suspension is. It tells you how aggressive you need to be. I was watching the Royals over the weekend quite a bit, even though they're West Coast games. This is what's nice about a good baseball team. You're like, stay up till 11:30. I mean, they're winning. So, okay, you got me. And I thought after we got through the weekend and I got a good sense of who they were, some part of it hit me on Saturday when the Royals had a chance to be alone in first place in the American League Central 40 to 41 games into the season. I was like, man, quarter pole and they're going to be standing by themselves for part of the game, technically, before the Royals game had finished. They were tied for first place in the American League Central a quarter of the way into the season. And I realized something that I'd been easier on them because of what my expectations of reality are. Based on their record and how well they performed, I will now officially be mad if they don't make the playoffs. This is a team that I no longer hope for expectations, and instead I think it is fair for us and deserving for us to put actual expectations and pressure on them to win the rest of the way. No more, Pitt started good, we'll get them next year. No, this should and can be a playoff team, and we should treat them accordingly, as if we walked into the season thinking that was the case. With their record as it sits right now, Gold, through 42 games, they on average, they've had like 5 or 6 seasons this way, they on average win 90 games. They made the playoffs multiple of those seasons, including winning the World Series in 2015, including going to, competing for American League titles during the 70s and 80s. This is a good enough record to assume that the Royals should be making the postseason.
Well, I certainly hope that's the case, and I think I'll be disappointed now because we've all gotten our hopes up. That's for sure. I'll be extremely disappointed if they're in September and we enter the month of September now and they don't have a real chance to make the postseason. That's where I've made the adjustment. Right, as before.
You want them to be alive.
I don't think
September 1st.
Anybody would have been like overly disappointed in that case. We'd be like, okay, come on now, they're not. Now, if it's September and we're still not talking about them having a real chance of making the postseason or already in position to make the postseason, yeah, I'm going to be disappointed. I don't know still though. May 13th, if I can say I'm going to be, mad and how could you not make the playoffs? And I can't get there yet. I certainly feel better and better about them doing it, and I'm going to be extremely bummed out if they don't because they have certainly played at a level that would suggest that's the type of team they can be and maybe are. But I don't know if I would go by mad in terms of being critical now. Like if we're sitting, they had this start in September and they don't make the playoffs, it's going to be very difficult
I'm
for me.
talking about what went wrong.
Well, sure. We're already talking about the flaws of the team. I mean, that nobody's saying we can't be critical. I'm saying I'm not going to be like, man, how did they not even make it? This is pathetic. And that, I don't know if that's the extreme you're saying, but that
making me sound like Mike Francesa.
Yeah. That I think would be a bit much, depending on how the next couple months go. Now we've reached the point where disappointment. Whereas in April, if you would ask me in April, will you be disappointed if they don't? I'd be like, no, it's just, this is what they are. Now it's the point where I'll be flat out disappointed if they're not in the postseason. If you're wondering what some of the odds are, the Royals now plus 198. So basically 2-1 to make the postseason, 5-1 to win the AL Central, minus 168 to win 80 or more games, and plus 460 to win 90 or more games.
Again, on average, when they start the season with just this win percentage or better, really right around this win percentage, they've never really started significantly better than this, maybe a game or two, 42 games in the season. They on average win 91 games. 91 games. This is supposed to be a playoff team now. Look, it's like any team in your head. Like some point last year, there's always teams where you're like, you're not supposed to be this good. But at some point, we have to accept that this is who they are, and they deserve pressure. I want them to feel pressure to make the postseason. They deserve to feel like we're good enough. We should think they are a playoff team because
Well, I think they're a playoff team as well, but there's a difference. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna like.
You're not pre-burying them if they miss it.
Yeah,
I understand.
But I think now the expectation is that they're going to be right there to do it, and they certainly have the talent. The one thing, and maybe they're going to have one of these special years again, as you were kind of alluding to, where hey, they're going to end up being healthy, but. That is still the caveat.
They have stayed healthy.
And not people. It's not even jinxing them. The point being is like, what happens if suddenly we've mentioned the 3 or 4 guys that have consistently hit, Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi. What happens even if it's just like out for 12
one
games?
Of the starters has to
or
miss
Lugo has to miss a start. I know people are going to get
5 stars,
but it's just reality. Most teams don't go through an entire baseball season being healthy. We haven't seen that yet. Maybe it is just going to be one of those incredible summers. I hope that's the case. And they just are healthy, and they're the healthiest team in baseball. That'd be amazing. If they're the healthiest team in baseball, they are. I will guarantee you they make the playoffs if they stay healthy.
If they just don't miss any significant time for anybody, nobody goes in the IL longer than 15 days or something.
If that's the case, then they are making the playoffs if they're healthy. I mean, we've already just seen in this division. The reason why it's hard for me to be, I'm going to be completely mad and all this is right now the AL Central is just better than everybody thought too, and that makes this a little more challenging.
I will say this though, when you look at them, like I've seen them against the team with the best record in the American League, against the Baltimore Orioles. They lost 2. They only won 2 of those 6 games. They were in all 6. Like that was not that very easily could have swung 3-3. Mm-hmm. They have hung with the best teams. Now look, they've hung with the Twins. They haven't played the Guardians yet, which is still remarkable in my brain.
Until next month, I think.
No, they take on Seattle, by the way, who's only a couple of games behind them too in the standings and currently leads the American League West. So they're taking on teams with real expectation too. I just think there's no metric, there's no stat right now that supports they're not one of the 5 best teams in the American League. Not a single one. Not run differential, not pitching, not hitting. None of it that suggests they're not capable of doing this thing. The run differential one is the one I keep getting hung up on because there is no better quantifier in baseball, just so you know, at predicting future baseball teams to make the postseason than run differential. The teams with the best run differential win more games. Accident or not, there's just a lot of those games that don't slip away. The only teams that there's one in the American League with a better run differential in them is the Yankees. That's it. They have the same as the first place Baltimore Orioles. So it's like, okay. And they're several runs clear of the Guardians.
Yeah, Shadow, when's the last time the Royals had 3 All-Stars? Because it sure seems like that's going to happen.
Yeah, you'd mentioned that. Salvi for sure now. Lugo for sure
I think
right
Salvi,
now.
Bobby,
Virginia, right?
I think Salvi, Bobby, and Lugo are almost, I won't say locks, but sure seem pretty damn likely to end up in the All-Star game.
I wanted to look up how
in 2015, didn't they have 7? It was something absurd.
That was us rigging the vote.
Right, but didn't they? Right, but I think they had.
Should we do that again? Who do you guys want to get behind this time?
Haven't they changed it a little bit to where it's not as much of it? You can't really do it as much.
Players get to vote a little bit on it, and some of it's,
I think there was.
We can't cheat the system the same way.
I think there were 7 Royals that were in the 2015 All-Star game.
The other part about the disappointment thing, and then we can talk about something else for a second. But the other part about the disappointment thing, and the reason why I think it's you can't say like, no, I'm mad at them for not making the postseason is half the league goes to the postseason, okay? Half of the American League is going to play in a damn playoff game. Why can't you be the half? Look at where you are 42 games into the year. And I'm not mad at them now. They're playing great. I love the way the Royals are playing. But it's like, come on, half? You can't, let's just knock out the teams that have no chance. So it's not even a half, by the way. There are 7 playoff spots, and the White Sox and Angels, we can just wipe off the plane. They ain't making it. That ain't going to happen. That's 2 that are gone. I hesitate to wipe away the Astros, even though their record is just as bad as the Angels, because, you know what? Actually, no, you can wipe them out too. You know the history of teams who 45 games in or 40 games into the season, 10 games under 500 make the postseason? It's like 3 in Major League Baseball history. So forget them too. They're done too. So now I'm talking about 7 out of 12 teams that we can even discuss in the American League are going to make the postseason. There is no reason for you not to be one of the 7 at this point.
Well, I hear you. I mean, there is no reason. I have in the back of my mind the Reds of 2023 because the first couple months last year, everybody was, they came out of nowhere, but they've got all this talent, and they got off to a good start. They ended up finishing 3rd in the NL Central, and they were 82-80. Tell me if that doesn't still seem like a fairly likely scenario here. I hope not. I hope it's an 87-win team and they have a chance to win the AL Central.
Or make a wild card game or anything.
I'm just saying like that. And that we people this time last year were talking about the Cincinnati Reds. Like, wow, they have a chance to maybe actually win this thing. They ended up 82-80.
But in fairness,
which would still be a huge improvement for this team.
You are not wrong about the Reds because they got hot, but they were under 500 all the way until June 16th. They were an under 500 team until June 16th, and then they got hot, gave themselves a real chance and finished 82-80. It's not way off. You're not wrong. Look, the 2003 Royals are a perfectly fine example to use against this team. I just think there's the one thing, and we talked about Lugo. Begin the show, and we'll talk about him again a little bit later, but like that's the part where I don't think it'll falter. Like if I go back and look at the 2003 team, I was like, well, that starting pitching wasn't going to hold up. Like, grow up. That wasn't going to hold up.
No, it's
they
a way
got
better
Brady
team.
Singer, a former first-round pick, pitching with a mid-2 ERA. They got Cole Ragans, a guy who pitched like the best pitcher in the American League the second half of last year in the rotation. They got Seth Lugo pitching like currently the best pitcher in the American League, pitching in the rotation, and 2 solid options behind that. Like, it just doesn't feel like if that doesn't fail, I don't know how they can.
No, and again, let me be clear. I think they're going to be in position to make the postseason. I'm just disagreeing with the part that, like, man, we can say, like, what you didn't use the word failure, but, like, to me, it's like if you're
going to
saying,
start feeling that way for me.
Yeah, and I'm just not, I don't think we can call it a failure now if they don't make the postseason. Based off a month and a half of, semi-success, like, that seems a little, that seems a little,
but it is
little
a short
tough.
time period.
But I hope that's the case. Again, they were once, 30-1 to win this division, and now the fact that they are 5-1 to win the AL Central tells you exactly the type of season they've already been off to. It's been sensational to watch as well. Thinking of baseball, though, don't forget tomorrow out at George Toma Wiffle Ball Field, the corner of 52nd and Warnell, the Battle Within and the Wiffle at the Hollow events taking place from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's tomorrow. You can see how many home runs you can hit in 30 seconds to win prizes and help raise money for the Battle Within. We'll talk with Mitch Holthus tomorrow. He's going to be out at that event. We've participated in the event in the past, but it's going on tomorrow. If you happen to be in the area, some of you have stopped by in the past to try to swing and hit a couple homers for a great cause. So that's tomorrow, 52nd and Warnell. You can't miss it. They got the whole field set up.
We've sent you out that way before.
George Toma Wiffle Ball Field, 10 a.m. to 1. 10 a.m. to 1 tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's a great time. It's fun to try to hit the homers. I'm sure that all the regular home run hitters will be out there helping you figure it out. And again, it is a great cause. We've mentioned them before because we've done work with the Battle Within over our time here on the show. But yeah, go out there, try to hit some homers. I think and then you can stay and watch a little bit of the game starting at 2 o'clock. They'll have some full games and action there as well. And it's not usually. It's a great time. We've been out there multiple times over the last couple of years.
Yeah, we'll check in with Mitch tomorrow. He does a great job of kind of firing everybody up and talking to everybody out there, and we'll get his perspective on that. Plus, we'll talk
Still debate about whether or not you hit a home run at that field once.
There's controversy. Yeah, there's
call foul.
Drew
wasn't here for that.
There was video evidence, very questionable video evidence.
I still think it looks foul in the video.
Very questionable video evidence. People live thought it was a home run that were in the outfield. So I don't know, man. That's one that's just gonna have to live forever.
Forever not known on
the
this
funniest
show.
thing is because going in, we were talking about it, and then Nick was broadcasting the game while we were playing.
He was.
And Nick's reaction was just stunned that there was it looked like it was a home run.
Based on your BP,
Yeah.
it didn't
I
seem
know.
like it was
And
going to
then
go that
Nick's
way. You made contact.
I think Nick's. I don't know if we have the audio anymore in the
know if we
system,
do.
but he's like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And he just started laughing the whole time because it was pretty funny considering the trash talk before the game. But it is fun if you want to go out to Wiffle at the Hollow tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 1, and we'll remind you guys tomorrow too.
Good chance for you to take a look at it. We had a garage sale item for it last year. We're hoping to maybe announce some stuff with that soon. Maybe that'll be on the docket again, You might want to check out the field before you get out there. Plus, wiffle ball is an American pastime. That feels very Americana, doesn't it?
Well, they do a great job setting it up, making it have that old school vibe too. There's no doubt about that. All right, guys, coming up next, we'll get to the 11 o'clock hour. One thing that might surprise Cody that I'm about to suggest, and George Karlaftis, what he could prove this year.
Cody and Gold.
If the Royals win the World Series, I will get, and you can mark it if you want, but
No, everybody
this
knows you said
tattooed
it.
on my body.
Who gives? We're winning games.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we are improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to rexbuyskc.com. That's rexbuyskc.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Patio season is here, and if you want to replace your patio door, you'll want to call my friends over at Renewal by Anderson. Hey guys, Rob Britton from The Drive here. Renewal by Anderson's gliding patio doors are highly engineered to ensure they're open and closed for years in any weather. And speaking of engineering, Renewal by Anderson's parent company, Anderson, spent nearly 30 years researching and developed their Fibrex composite window material. It's 2 times stronger than vinyl and available in 9 exterior colors. Help make your home more comfortable and beautiful with Renewal by Anderson's windows and patio doors. Call by May 31st and you'll get this incredible deal. Save $325 on every window and $735 on every patio door, with interest as low as 4.99% for 10 years. Call 913-364-0200. That's 913-364-0200. One more time, 913-364-0200.
QC Kinetics provided amazing pain relief for a former professional baseball player, and you have access to the same life-changing treatments as retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez.
I put a lot of stress and strain and work on my right arm, but my right elbow took most of the damage with 3 surgeries.
Arthritis developed, and the pain was unbearable.
It wasn't just pain when I was trying to play sports. It was anytime I was moving the right elbow. It was pretty excruciating at times.
That's when Jose discovered QC Kinetics and the regenerative treatments that help the body heal itself, restoring damaged tissue and providing relief with no surgery or downtime. Jose's message to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics?
My elbow is feeling outstanding. Where were you 10 years ago, for crying out loud?
QC Kinetics is right here. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
The sun is out, the water's fine, and the crew is ready to party. Summer is here. Hy-Vee has everything you need to make a huge splash this Memorial Day. Fire up the grill and impress your guests with prime reserve steaks, chicken grillers, or specialty brats. Don't forget our ready-to-serve side dishes. Cool off with some tasty refreshments from our wide selection of beverages, wine, and spirits. Make a splash into summer this Memorial Day weekend at your Kansas City area Hy-Vee.
Hey, it's Kling. There are many reasons to love my friends from Hy-Vee. The selection, the prices. And Hy-Vee's always finding new ways to save me lots of money, especially at the gas pump. Just the other day, 75 cents off per gallon. I've just been racking up those fuel savers, and you can too. I'm actually headed to Hy-Vee on Monday to save 45 cents a gallon on gas when I spend just $45 in groceries in honor of Christian Lundgaard's number 45 IndyCar, proudly sponsored by Hy-Vee. You can rev up your savings as well this Monday only at Hy-Vee.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Bronius Professional Welding Equipment, service and repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the Foot.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, picture this. It's Friday afternoon when a thought hits you. I can spend another weekend doing the same old whatever, or I can hop into my all-new Hyundai Santa Fe and hit the road. With available H-Track all-wheel drive and 3-row seating, my whole family can head deep into the wild. Conquer the weekend in the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. Hyundai, there's joy in every journey.
Looking for a new show to dive into? Well, go to Hulu and see what's new because Hulu has new stuff all the time, like the full season of FX's epic limited series Shogun, FX's new international spy thriller The Veil, starring Emmy and Golden Globe winner Elizabeth Moss, and don't miss the all-new crime series Under the Bridge, inspired by shocking true events and starring Riley Keough and Lily Gladstone. It's all new and it's streaming right now on Hulu.
Family Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data, and you get to choose who joins your family plan starting as low as $25 a line. Does it have to be family? It can be family or people you like.
Get more lines and more savings. Switch to Straight Talk for family plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. As part of the Let's Play Sports Equipment Drive presented by Pinnacle Bank, please consider donating to the Urban Youth Academy by dropping off new and gently used sports equipment at participating Gates Barbecue locations. Go to 610sports.com for more details or to donate. 610 Sports Radio, KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, and Odyssey Sports Station.
I'm ready for it.
11 o'clock hour, Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Here in 20 minutes, we'll get to the trash of the day. We'll also get, I think, something that's going to surprise Cody, I'm about to say, in about 10 minutes or so. It's a request, and I don't know if he is going to actually expect it.
Honor it?
Yeah.
Or expect it?
Both. Both. I hope you'll honor it. I hope you'll honor it.
Say for sure.
I hope you'll honor it.
Is this like asking? Drew didn't ask me to help him move or anything. I thought if he didn't ask me, I'd had no choice but to help.
This is less work, and it's something that you've done.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's a fair request.
Less work than moving.
And I'll let you know. We'll find out together, or Drew will find out with you in the audience coming up in just a little bit. But I know you wanted to talk about George Karlaftis a little bit because before Chris Jones got his deal done this offseason, we were discussing, hey,
can he do it alone?
Is he going to be able to do it alone? And if he does, is he going to be one of those guys that elevates to a 12.5, 13.5 sack guy? And we're saying, man, he's going to get the massive payday. He still could get a massive payday, but what's the feel around him? I mean, he had the breakout season last year. He was sensational, 10.5 sacks in year 2 in the system.
So obviously there's no complaints about what you've gotten out of George Karlaftis in the first 2 years. But what I was realizing is that if he also wants to be paid here, while they're also paying Chris Jones, he is going to have another 10-sack season again in order to prove to everyone that it's not Chris Jones carrying the freight. Because I'll be honest, I have more people tell me, boy, it's nice George Karlaftis got Chris Jones getting all the triple teams.
Doesn't hurt.
So that of course it doesn't hurt, so that George Karlaftis can go and get all of his freebie sacks. I don't think you get 10.5 freebies. Does that make sense? Nobody gets that amount of free sacks. But because of the attention Chris Jones got this year, I think getting 10 sacks again this year could prove to the Chiefs he's worthy of paying at the identical time, and that's the kind of player they're going to pay. He goes back to like 7 or 8. Well, then you start getting in no man's land. Like if you're Karlaftis, you start getting in the land where it'd be like, are we sure that he's way better than available options on the free agency market or in the drafted market? And how much is Chris Jones really helping him out? There's a point of like, I don't think if Karlaftis gets 10 sacks again this year, you can keep giving like 25, 30, 40% of his credit to a guy who's not technically getting the sacks and instead George Karlaftis is. I think it's kind of a swing year. I think it's a swing year for Karlaftis to prove he's worth a future payday.
I think it's a swing year, and is there another level? Even with Chris Jones still here, I think people are wondering, I know I'm part of this group, all right, 10.5, is there a chance he can...
Is it 13, 14?
Yeah, and that's going to be very challenging to get when you do have... At the same time, when you do have Chris Jones, because then all of a sudden we're thinking, how many sacks is this defense getting? If you think Chris Jones is going to still be...
He might get 8 to 10, it's fine.
Is there a chance that Chris Jones actually, even though he got the big payday and he deserves every penny of it, that Chris Jones is a 9.5 sack guy, but Karlaftis is the 11.5, 12.5 sack guy? I don't think anybody's going to really be complaining about that, but that's the question. Is there another gear to Karlaftis? I think the real way we were going to fully tell if he could take the leap like Max Crosby did essentially was if Chris was out of the picture. But for him to go from, what was his rookie sack total?
6.5.
6 to 10.5. I mean, that's By the way, a 4.5 sack increase is massive in the
Huge.
NFL. Those are big leaps.
I'd take that out of Felix Anudika-Uzomah right now. He'd be at 5 sacks.
Yeah.
I'd
no
lock
doubt.
it in immediately. There were less than 10 players with more than 13.5 sacks last year. So you would automatically put yourself in some rare company by getting that number. But I also think that he has to, because of where they're spending their money, and because unfortunately for him, the same guy in the same draft class has already proven to be an all-pro caliber, maybe the best player at his position player, in Trent McDuffie, you got a lot to prove in order to be it's not Chris Jones who's doing it. And again, you can't fully separate yourself from that because they gave Chris Jones a bunch of money and he's going to be on the line. But there is a point of number of production with consistency that it's hard to just be well, Chris Jones must be the only guy putting up 26 sacks in their first 3 seasons? No. That, at some point, I think just 10 or 11. If he took a leap, then the check starts getting really easy.
It does, but I would sign up right now if you had, even though we had 10.5 last year, if you said, hey, you could lock in 9.5 sacks from Karlaftis or roll the dice, I think I would still lock in the 9.5 because that, to me, is plenty for what they would need to still be where the defense or where we expect, I should say, the defense to be. Would you do that? If I were to ask you guys, and the text line as well, 913-586-7610, lock in 9.5 sacks for Karlaftis or roll the dice, knowing that he had a full sack more than that a year ago. I would lock in 9 or 9.5 right now.
Take it. I don't know why I wouldn't
That's
take
not
it.
bad.
It's a lot of sacks, man.
Third year in the league. I know. Now, look, maybe you roll the dice if you believe there's a whole other gear and you think he has a chance to be one of the top. Because if you think he's going to be,
then you think he's
11
Aiden Hutchinson, or you think he's
if he's an 11+ sack guy, then suddenly I don't know the exact numbers in front of me, but I believe that makes him a top 10 sack guy in the league.
So as a quick reminder, you mentioned Max Crosby, who we would all sign up if you just told me right now the first 5 years of Karlaftis' career are going to mirror that of Max Crosby. We'd lock it in. He had 10 sacks his rookie year, which is incredible. He fell back to 7. So, through the first 2 years, Karlaftis and Max Crosby had a very similar number of sacks. The third year, he had 8. So, again, still no big leap. Then 12.5 and 14.5 in each of the last 2 years at 25 and 26. By the way, that's what got him paid. What got him paid was the leap in sack totals. When you're 7 or 8, teams look around and they're like, okay. It's like being the 10th best starter in the NFL, I think sometimes, or the 12th best starter in the NFL. They're not definitely rushing you out the door. They like the production. The production's good. Stats speak for themselves. But you're also can we do better? Is there money here allocated a different way that gets us that number of sacks?
Again, if Chris Jones did not sign a new deal and he was out the door,
it seemed like a lock he was getting the deal.
Then I think I would be saying, hey, can Karlaftis become Max Crosby? And I would be talking more about going from 10.5 to can he be a 13 sack guy? Because Chris is still here, I don't think my expectation is that he's going to take another 2+ sack leap. From 10.5 to 12.5, 13. That's why I would still, he personally, of course, wouldn't, but as from the outside, I would lock in 9 sacks for next year, and I would be happy, and I would not view that as a disappointment, is knowing that you would think Chris Jones is still a 10-sack guy. Now, if you think Chris Jones...
There's nothing wrong with being a 9, 10-sack player every year.
If
a lot of money in
if
that.
Chris Jones got his deal and you're worried that he's going to take a step back, I don't think we have to worry about that for another year or so. But if you think that's happening this year... clearly, the Chiefs don't think that's a worry.
Because they just gave him a bunch of money.
If he was falling back to a 7-sack season, well, then I would need Karlaftis to be 10.5, 11.5+ sacks, especially knowing that who's going to miss 6 games, or more than 6 games, I should say, after missing 6 last year.
I just think 8 to 10 sack players, the perfect example, there's a guy in Kansas City. This is why it's easy to conceptualize. When you're 8, 9, 10 sacks every year, right? If that's what Karlaftis fell back to, right? He's an 8.5 sack guy. You're Carlos Dunlap. You will play 10 to 13 years in the NFL. You will probably get at least 1 second contract, maybe with the Chiefs, right? You'll make a bunch of money. People will love having you on the team. They'll be happy when you're a free agent. You'll be fine. Right? Being a 14.5 sack player, I like the guys who can just do it occasionally. What is the peak of your powers? I don't think George Karlaftis is turning into a 14 sack player every year. Then he's Micah Parsons. I don't think he's Micah Parsons. And if he's Micah Parsons, then this whole contract conversation is moot. If he turns into that and all of a sudden he's 14 sacks every year, he's going to get a gigantic pile of money, and we're not going to have to worry about it at all. If he's 8, 9, 10 sacks this year, he's proving he can be a Carlos Dunlap-type player, who, by the way, did get a contract extension with Cincinnati through his first rookie deal, had 9.5 his first year, had 13.5 one time when he was 26 years old. Other than that, what did he get? 8, 9 sacks.
Right, but
a lot of money in that.
There is. And remember, Carlos Dunlap, while the sack numbers weren't there as much, he was one of the best at batting down passes. That was like a category he led in, and there was another element.
And tackles for loss. He was always really good at that.
So sack is the easy number that we all look at.
There's other things at play.
There's other things, but thinking that Carlos Dunlap never ended up signing with anybody last year, so he's just done, I guess.
Yep.
He never, we were all...
Remember when we wondered that about, Eric Berry for a full calendar year, and then we're like, oh, I guess he's just not going to play in football anymore. Okay. Sometimes the league tells you, I think, is the answer. I don't think it's that Carlos Dunlap was turning down every call. I think that any of the calls that were coming in weren't all that serious, and there weren't that many. Does that make sense?
I just wonder.
He's like, am I getting off the street for league minimum?
A year ago, he was, he hit the milestone of sacks, and he won a ring at that point, and I think there's some of that, but he's probably done. But why we're having that conversation just reminded me. Timeout.
I was just trying to give a player that most Chiefs fans would have remembered floating around the league long enough that you're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. No one's going to complain about that.
We'll get to the trash of the day here in 10 minutes or so. So I got a request.
Okay.
Not often do I come to this show live on the air and ask you something that you maybe don't expect me to ask you.
Okay.
But that's
all
what's
you
about
put in
to
the
happen.
rundown was Alex has a request for Cody.
That's right, and
So.
I do, and I haven't.
I didn't want to know ahead of time. It's more fun to do it on air.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Drew about this. I don't know if he's okay with this, and
I have no idea what
I
you're
don't know
about
if
to
the
say,
listeners are okay with this either. But
this feels like it's off to a weird start.
There's some caveats to it.
Oh,
my request
so now there's already
requires.
rules.
Yeah, my request requires it to be fulfilled this week.
Okay.
So the request is for you to do a Nelson Velasquez song.
Wow.
But it has to. It
Wait a
has to
second.
be.
Well.
It has to be fulfilled this week. He's hitting 225, 2 homers, 8 RBIs, and a 637 OPS. He did have 2 hits yesterday against the Angels, and over the weekend against the Angels as a whole, I think he had 4 hits. So you could argue, okay, maybe
things are already turning.
But he's struggled to say the least. There's a chance maybe he gets sit down at some point. There's never been a better player for you to write a song about because you've written songs about Michael. He was never getting sent down. He's just a very good.
You think this is the ultimate test of my powers?
MJ Melendez, also someone that we know the skill and talent. It is all there. Homegrown guy. Obviously, Vinny was always going to eventually, get out of a little slump that he had to start the season. This is the play. This is the one. This week, it has to happen. Nelson Velasquez song. Here's why I'm requesting it. I was sent and I forwarded it to you. I already have some music for you.
Yeah, there's a beat.
I already have some. I think this is the player. If you're hesitant, I want to know why.
I'm not hesitant about Velasquez. He just wasn't the player. I choose my moments. I decide when I want to take on a player. Nelson Velasquez.
Here's why I want you to do this player. Because
why this week? Just because you're worried he's going to get sent down?
And that's what it is. And that's why I think you haven't done a song yet, because you're worried you're going to do a song and get sent down and then it's gone. This is the true test. This is why I'm requesting it this week, and it has to be fulfilled this week.
You're trying to set me up for failure.
I want it
You're
fulfilled.
trying to set me up to lose.
I want it fulfilled this week. Why do you think you haven't done a song for Adam Frazier or Garrett Hampson or Nelson Velasquez? You've done it for the known stars on the team. It's time to do it for
known stars. They were struggling.
It's time to do it for the guys that are kind of floating between the two that could end up breaking out and maintaining their possibility to stay on the team.
Nelson Velasquez.
Are there any more caveats to this?
No, that's it. This week and Nelly.
Because I thought
and the music,
some sort of Nelly song.
I gave him the song
I gotta
already
listen to it
2
again.
weeks ago. So it's not even just
That was a mashup between that and Will Smith.
Yeah, but one of our DJ friends sent the beat. He said, "Can you pass this on to Cody?" That's exactly what I did.
I had it.
You have it, don't you?
I have it. It's in my possession.
Okay.
That one might not work because it's a mashup between that and Will Smith. A Nelly song could work.
I don't want to make any. I didn't want to make any assumptions or put words in your mouth, Gold. But I thought one of the caveats would be if this one fails, then you're done.
Then I'm done.
If this
I'm
one doesn't,
3 for 3. And all of a sudden, in baseball, I'm 3 for 3. Do you know how hard that is in baseball? I'm pretty much George Brett, and now I can't take one miss.
In the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it's been, I've been more supportive, I think, of the songs than Gold has been to this point.
This is
Nelson Velasquez. That's a true test.
This is the one and only request I'm going to ever have for you to sing. Ever. This is it.
What Nelly song?
I don't know.
Oh, let's
text line 913-586-7610.
I can't believe it came from you of all people.
I know.
I've had people on Twitter hit me up for Nelson Velasquez. They've been asking for weeks to solve something with
Someone
Nelson Velasquez.
says-
He seems like an obvious candidate, and his nickname's Nelly.
From the 816 Y Gold, why you are our last hope of no more songs. Someone else says I effing called it. Someone else says Gold, do you know what you just did to Cody's ego? This is the only request.
You've never asked.
This is the only request. There's a couple terms with it, and I laid them out. You can make a decision.
Week.
Yep. Because I guess Drew was asking, what's the caveat?
Man,
the caveat is
he might get sent down.
The caveat is this is the only week. Like this is the only week you can do the Nelly song.
You do realize that if I do this and it works, I'm unstoppable.
Yes.
I will be a runaway freight train at that point.
Yeah. What
I'll be writing songs about every player on the roster.
Hot in here?
I mean, that's a pretty obvious one because it just sounds right.
It has to be this week if you do Nelly. Otherwise, don't do a Nelly song.
Man, how do I rewrite good gracious asses bodacious? how do I rewrite? What the hell word do I replace with bodacious? I mean, I might just have to reuse that word.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to keep
that
it.
one probably stays. I don't think I've got a different one with that replaces bodacious.
I've seen you put together a song in 2 days. This is Monday.
I have put together songs pretty quick.
This is Monday. They're off Thursday, so there's even a chance this can work in your favor. He could actually have gotten some momentum from the Angels series. And he starts hitting decent for 2 games. Then you've already got the momentum heading in your favor.
What other Air Force Ones? What are my other choices here? Do I steal Batter Up from Nelly because he's wearing that Cardinals jersey in the video?
Yeah.
Hypothetically, you're taking that power away from him, and they stink. So Nelly wouldn't want to sing about the Cardinals right now anyway. Batter Up, right? Isn't that the one he's in the Cardinals jersey?
I think that's right.
Do you got that one handy? Well, you better look for the clean versions of any of these, I'm thinking. No,
I found Air Force Ones, and that would be a funny one for you to rap over, essentially.
Some of his other songs are...
Air Force Ones.
Yeah. Just a Dream, Ride With Me.
I mean, there's the obvious ones, right? There's like Country Grammar, Air Force Ones, and Hot in Here. Kind of like this one.
It's got some bounce to it.
Well, let me hear it for a second. I have a process, as we've discussed on this show. Is this just the instrumental?
Yes.
I don't know. Can you even play the lyrics on some of these?
No, that helps a little bit.
I just wanted to avoid any possibility.
That's what I mean. I don't know if you can play.
It just
Someone
depends.
says,
clean.
Good gracious, the K is so spacious.
Should that help him? That sounds like a pitcher song.
yeah. Someone wants you to do a remix, the Nelly and Tim McGraw song, Do Over and Over by Nelly and Tim McGraw.
Dude,
Nelly's done a
and
lot
I
of
do both parts?
Nelly has done a lot of country crossovers.
That one doesn't, it's not hitting me in a particular way. I'm going to have to listen to it in the break. I can't just think of the way that one sounds in my head. Nelly,
okay.
Tim McGraw.
So, yeah, I mean,
Good gracious, bats are loading bases. It's too many words. I wouldn't be able to get that thing out. I need bodacious to be quick, not loading. It's not, I don't think the flow's as good.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
This is the Tim McGraw
This
one.
seems more right up your alley, actually.
I haven't done anything country at all. I don't think I've done a single country song in all the stuff we've done. I don't think I've done one. Okay, I'm going to have to listen to this.
This could work. It's slower, maybe slower than you would like.
Someone says bodacious rhymes with so gracious. That's not bad.
Good gracious,
That was
bats are loading
immediately-
bases.
Well, the immediate line you think of when you hear that. Oh, yeah, this song. Okay.
You've
the second
heard
you
this,
started
yeah.
playing, it just, when they said it, I'm like, wait, what song?
You've heard
over
this,
and
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I can't believe you actually asked for a song. That's shocking to me.
Trust
Are
me,
you just
I'm
looking for
surprised
Nelson
as well.
Velasquez to start hitting?
Well,
you got a
'cause
bet on him or something?
He's one of the few guys that struggling in the lineup, but also the potential is still there. Like, with all due respect to a few other guys, like I'll be honest, I don't know why Garrett Hampson is still actually getting significant playing time for this baseball team.
I think it's the righty thing.
I understand.
It should make sense that it would be more Nick Lofton or some of these
I
other guys.
also
have
saw
options with.
Nelly last year hit home run after home run after home run after home run. That's why that could be a game. That could be a game changer for this team. You want to talk about them elevating to another level than they're already at. So he has a little more upside than some of the others. But I just think you should write a song about somebody that's not,
Nelly.
everybody else been a homegrown talent that you've wrote a song about in this
I need
organization.
to go outside.
It's time to help some of the other guys out.
Talent.
There is part of me that would love to hear you rap or whatever you want to do over Air Force Ones.
I mean, I'm just so familiar with this song. Look, Drew, I don't know. I know this sounds weird now. The first 4 or 5 songs I did on this show were all raps.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them were raps.
All of them have been more singing ones, pop ones.
Yeah, there's just been a.
I've arrived.
I don't know. I go through. I have ears just like Taylor Swift. My rap ear was earlier in my process.
See, Travis was in Paris over the weekend.
I did.
at the
I also saw
87th,
that on
the 87th.
She was wearing red and gold as her outfit.
Yeah.
I know way too much about Taylor Swift's
Well, we all know
concerts
way
than
too much now.
than I ever thought I would know.
Yeah, never would I have expected to know her concert, her tour schedule or anything, but here we are. Here we are.
I had to pull up the time I don't know if they still have that. I had to pull up the time on the drive that I rapped against Rob on their show.
Oh, yeah. That was a year or two ago, maybe? I don't know.
I've heard about this, but have not heard.
So what about Nelly Furtado? Maybe you don't do
It's a good
Nelly.
suggestion.
You do Nelly Furtado.
Everyone expects it's Nelly.
Nelly Furtado.
Oh, man. The one with Timberland?
Uh-huh.
Promiscuous girl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how
Promiscuous, yeah. 2006 is when this song
This
came
song
out.
is still great. This is a great song.
It's a good, like,
I don't think I can do
like
that unless I actually
party-
have someone duetting it with me. I don't think I can do both voices on that one.
it's a good party, like, dance song.
Oh, interesting.
Okay,
Classic
so the request
prom
is out
right there.
there. We laid it out.
I want to
You
think
may-
about it. I don't want to say for sure yet.
Okay.
I want to
okay.
think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against it.
I'll be stunned if you turn it down. That would also be breaking news.
Because you finally asked for it. It'd be kind of weird for me to be like, no.
If
I
you do
shouldn't.
turn down a song, I mean, that's
interesting. Turning
tough
down an
blow.
opportunity to sing. That would be.
It's a little Seinfeldian, isn't like I choose not to run. I'm choosing my battle because I'm like, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one.
But you know what
Man, I'm
happened?
starting to think.
You ran anyways.
Yeah, that's right.
Trash of the day.
All right. This has to do with over the weekend what Jim Harbaugh had to say out in L.A. I don't know if you guys keep an eye on the Chargers offseason. Obviously, brand new regime are there, and Harbaugh is always going to give you some awkward moments, some gems. Just listen to this 20-second sequence from the weekend where he was talking about, motivating his team, but getting up for the day.
About 3:34 in the morning, woke up, staring straight at the ceiling, and said to myself, "It's not just another day; it's today." And maybe that's just another way of saying, "Attack this day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind." But yeah, it was a great day.
So weird.
Hell yes, man.
So
This is
weird.
when he brought Michigan.
I know.
It's not just another day; it's today.
Oh, that's great.
He's a weird. If he lost more, we would bury him.
Yeah.
Yes,
he
you
wins,
would.
so it doesn't matter. Just.
It's like him. It's like him doing
Today.
It's like him doing the Jolly Good Fellow song in the locker room. Just a quirky dude.
Oh, he's quirky, all right.
He beyond. It's far beyond that. Honest, like, I don't think he's a bad dude, but because he says such weird things, and now he's in the division. I'm rooting for failure. I'm just gonna be honest. It's the day. I'm rooting. He'll be the easiest person to pick on if they are failing.
You want to be able to bury him.
And it's already easy to pick on Sean Payton. And look, Josh McDaniels was really low-hanging fruit. Now, Antonio Pierce, it's like he seems like it's another guy. It's like, I don't really want to root against you, but you coach the Raiders, so you're giving me no choice. With Harbaugh, it's just like he's an easy target. If he fails, he's such an easy target. He sets himself up for it. So it just makes
There's
me
going to be
tempted.
a lot of gyms I am looking forward to, though. All the press conferences all year from Harbaugh, like of things like that.
Yeah.
And I guess if we covered Michigan, we would have heard. I mean, we had already
say
heard some
stuff like
of them,
this.
but just like what?
It's not just another day; it's today.
He's about it.
Drew loves this. Did you have a poster of his in your room?
I do
In the
not.
new apartment, did you guys put up a poster of quotes of Jim Harbaugh, motivational quotes? Is this
do
hanging
not.
up in the elementary school PE class now? Next to you can't make the shots you don't take or whatever. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Is this next to that one now
That is
too?
That is a perfect gym banner, gym poster.
It's the day. It does feel like
it's today. That's
Today's
perfect.
a great day. It feels like the sign you slap as you're walking out there.
That's right.
Yes.
And look, I'd make coaches do this all the time. Workplaces do this too. I gotta be honest. Have you ever been motivated by one of these things? Because I have not. No amount of seize the day stuff has ever worked on me in any capacity in any stage of my life.
Yeah.
So
Someone described it perfectly with Harbaugh. They're like football psycho.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair way to.
It's a good way to describe it.
To describe Harbaugh.
It's not just another day; it's today.
It's today.
He's out of breath. He was out of breath talking the whole 20-second clip.
excited.
Was he did he jog to work as well?
About 3:34 in the morning, woke up, staring straight at the ceiling, and said to myself,
anybody ask him where his hands
it's
were
not
during
just
this?
another day.
Okay.
Listen to that again.
Okay.
That's just another way of saying attack this day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. But
you sure? I'm officially accusing him of something.
We just started sharing the ball, and our energy was great.
That wasn't at Harbaugh's press conference.
It sounded like it. His press conference, if that noise was in the background, it would have made sense. He's going, today. You're like, relax. Just a little, dude.
He's still living in that RV, isn't he?
I think so.
That's what he said. Now, I mean, I don't think he's living in, an RV that's beat up. It's probably some of these RVs, man. Some of these RVs are insane.
I think they showed his RV.
A friend of mine's family has an RV. This thing is unbelievable. So no, just because you live in an RV doesn't mean it's no.
Correct.
It could be $1.5 million RV. It's beautiful. So he's just different, quirky, weird, football psycho,
He's
whatever you want to.
different.
He's built built different.
I'm
okay.
Look, it was there.
Yes. All right, guys.
Good
That's
stuff.
the trash of the day. Up next, we get back to the Chiefs during the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Who's not coming to Kansas City? And one thing a former Chief admitted over the weekend.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
There is a back-to-back Super Bowl champion, and it is the Kansas City Chiefs.
On your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here, and you guys know this, living in the Kansas City metro area. It is going to be hot this summer. And remember those huge AC bills that you were paying last summer because your windows let all the hot, humid air into the house? Well, call my friends at Window World and replace those old windows right now. Call this number, 816-799-0820. Window World windows are just one of 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. And in just over 20 years of business, they have improved the look and thermal efficiency of over 54,000 customers right here in the Kansas City area with a lifetime warranty that covers all your parts, glass breakage, and labor. It is the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're offering you an incredible deal. Window World is now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call this number, 816-799-0820. One more time, that's 816-799-0820, and tell them that Carrington sent you to my friends over at Window World.
Welcome back. I'm here with Kansas City linebacker Nick Bolton. Nick, what do you look for in a car dealership?
Hands down, someone I can trust.
Then you'll want to come to Smithville Ford.
Didn't it used to be Dave Littleton Ford?
You're so smart, but it's under new management now. 3 times the inventory on new vehicles. And we've modernized and expanded the service department. We can service twice as many vehicles now. Nick, thanks for joining our team.
Be smart. Go to the new Smithfield Ford.
Hi, Kansas City. This is Kevin Harlan. I know being a champion means you're a leader in your field and you always rise above your competition. That's why when summer temperatures get extreme, our home has a Champion air conditioning system that keeps my family comfortable and cool. Get peak performance in your home by finding a local Champion dealer at championhomecomfort.com. Ask about our special financing options with rates as low as 0% and our factory-backed extended parts and labor warranty. Always leading, never compromising, championhomecomfort.com.
All hands are on deck at Midwest Marine Friday, May 24th from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for their 10-hour sale. Rates as low as 6.99% with approved credit at Midwest Marine. No payments for the first 90 days. All signed deals get an in-store credit of $1,000 to use on parts, accessories, or service. Purchase a new boat over $50,000 and get a free Old Town kayak. The 10-hour sale, Friday, May 24th from 9 to 7, only at Midwest Marine, 13800 South Highway 71 in Grandview. Midwest Marine, we take pride in your fun.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
We've all seen them. As soon as the big storm comes through, the storm-chasing roofers show up. Don't be a victim twice. Call locally owned, veteran-owned JR & Company. No one protects your home and you like JR.
JR's there for you. You're always better with a roof from JR.
In fact, JR & Company can let you know if you even need to be worried about storm damage. Online, visit jrhailcheck.com. Plug in your address and we'll pull a storm report. If there's nothing on the report, we'll give you hassle-free peace of mind. And if it looks like you got hit, we can come out and do a free inspection and help with any insurance claim. We'll never try to sell you a roof you don't need. But if you do need a new roof,
You're always better with a roof from JR.
go to jrhailcheck.com.
Don Sharp and the Sharp Homes team sell well over 100 homes per year in Kansas City. And that's why if I needed to sell my home, Don Sharp would be the only agent I would trust. Don and her team are selling homes for top dollar all over the metro. If you used another agent and aren't seeing the results, let Don and her team take over. The Sharp Homes team spends thousands of marketing dollars each month to attract more buyers, which increases demand and sells homes faster for the most money possible. Check them out at homesforsaleInKC.com or just Google Sharp Homes team.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be21.
Family Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data, and you get to choose who joins your family plan starting as low as $25 a line. Does it have to be family? It can be family or people you like.
Get more lines and more savings. Switch to Straight Talk for family plan starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, save $8 on a pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades in-store only. We'll even install them for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Our negative thoughts can stick with us, so we all have something to get off our chest. Therapy is a safe space to share whatever's weighing you down, so you can get some relief and find a solution. BetterHelp offers professional, affordable online therapy on a flexible schedule. Start the process in minutes and switch therapists anytime. Let it out with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/takecare today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/takecare.
Okay, picture this. It's Friday afternoon when a thought hits you. I can spend another weekend doing the same old whatever, or I can hop into my all-new Hyundai Santa Fe and hit the road. With available H-Track all-wheel drive and 3-row seating, my whole family can head deep into the wild. Conquer the weekend in the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. Hyundai, there's joy in every journey.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council. Chiefs Kingdom. This is Mitch Holtis, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour on Cody and Gold. Every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner, the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Did you see what's happening again today?
Man, we should have gotten in on this. We missed out.
You guys remember, I don't know, it's probably been 2-3 years since the big short selling, like, hey, GameStop.
There's a whole movie about it already.
AMC stock. You guys kind of at least vaguely familiar with it, even if you weren't actively tracking it. Well, today, I don't want to say it's full-blown happening again, but GameStop is up 71%. And there's nothing new that GameStop like announced that would lead you to believe that, oh, man, you know, that's
Here we go.
No, but the individual that kind of started the trading on the short selling and everything a couple years ago hadn't tweeted anything in 3 years.
So since all of this had happened.
Sends out one tweet. It's Roaring Kitty is the Twitter account. I know. I'm just telling you. That's Roaring
That's
Kitty.
the name of it?
Right? It's a guy named like Keith Gill or something. He's done interviews since and explained. And back then he put in he's bought $50,000 worth of GameStop shares, and reports are he flipped that into $30 million because it got up to $400 a share. Remember, during the craziness.
Yeah.
Now this is not anywhere near $400 a share. It's $29.94. It got up to like 30 something dollars earlier today, and it's still up, but it's down to $29.94. But is this happening again?
Just going to do this again.
And GameStop, it's not like.
Well, I think there's one reason why, and it's the college football game.
No, I don't think
it is. I think that might be
I don't
it.
think it's the college football game.
I don't think
they
that's
announced they had a
good.
version of that game that costs like $200.
I don't think that is why the stock is up. There's all these articles out already that it basically the stock is soaring because of this again.
Man.
GameStop shorts dealt 1.4 billion paper losses in meme revival. Those that did short the stock, they went after him again.
You better. I'll tell you this much. There are a lot of stocks I might short in my life. It's not going to be GameStop. I'm done messing with them.
Now people are like, oh, the same thing's going to happen to AMC. So people are, again, not giving out any advice. I know I wouldn't.
This is not.
Yes. We are not traders, professional financial consultants.
Do you guys want to put the entire show on an AMC stock?
No.
See what happens.
I'll tell you what.
Get a Robinhood account, put it all on the AMC stock, and see what happens.
I'll tell you what, though. Last Thursday when GameStop was $15.90, I wish we would have known.
That would have been nice.
We could have doubled our money.
Would have been got up to $36 pre-trading this morning.
I did in the break find the time I rapped Eminem for you, Drew.
Oh gosh.
While on the drive.
Okay.
Since you said you hadn't heard me rap, I want to open up that world to your possibility. This is, and I was careful. This is Forget About Dre. As you know, you cannot sing a number of the words in that song. But I was invited to do a rap contest for the Dr. Dre Eminem Super Bowl halftime show. And I was asked by Carrington if I would rap against Rob, in which he lost handily. I think we did 3 songs each, and he lost 3-0. But this was one of them. Maybe. Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out.
Why is it so like high pitched?
Just a bunch of gibberish. You
I don't know.
Act like you forgot about Dre. So what do you say to somebody you hate, or anyone trying to bring trouble your way? Want to resolve things in a bloodier way? Then study a tape of NWA. One day I was walking by with my walking on when I caught a guy give me an awkward eye, so I. That's it.
That's very good.
That's not half bad.
The cadence is very good, actually.
That's one of those. You know why that is? Because that's one of those songs I memorized. Like somewhere along the way when you're just like you just like the energy of it so much, you're just like nowadays everybody want to talk like they got something to say. Like nothing comes out when they move their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish.
It's a good pocket. Yeah.
You just know the words. Like I could sing that song now without the lyrics.
I forgot about that. That was you said that was on with the drive.
It was the drive, and it was during I think it was when they announced Dr. Dre as the halftime performer and that Eminem was probably going to be there for the Super Bowl.
Someone wants to know if we can get a picture of Drew and the Twin Peaks girls on our commercial break during YouTube. We'll get back to the Twin Peaks conversation in the noon hour today.
Make that our break screen.
We should. We'll get the audio of that again. There's still more to break down of Drew's Friday video for a great cause at Twin Peaks.
Did you see the suggestion as well from the 816 in the text line?
I did not. What is it? Where is it?
So it's not too far down off the top.
What you can read it.
Drew, I hope you asked that the girl out you got sandwiched in between.
No, that's not what I found the text. Read the text verbatim. Read the text verbatim. Right. There's no inappropriate words.
All right. They said, Drew, I hope you asked that little hot chick you got sandwiched in between.
I don't like that phrase at all.
She was eyeballing you, my man. Sometimes work is fun. I said, bro, I'm married.
Sometimes work is fun.
I'm satisfied. I'm good.
You should, by the way, Drew, you should say you're more. I don't know if you want to just be like, I'm satisfied. That seems like you're content. Like, that doesn't seem.
What are you supposed to say?
I don't know.
I'm deeply in love with my wife. That's a weirder way to put it.
I don't know. I feel like just saying satisfied. Like, how's your marriage? I'm satisfied. Like, I just don't know if that.
Let me give this to you.
How would your wife react to that, Cody? How do you think our marriage is? Well, I'm satisfied. It just sounds very like it is what it is.
You're supposed to maybe say it's great.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
I mean, you didn't say he's dissatisfied. It could be worse.
Well, that would be a problem.
Oh, I can. Do you want me to try to salvage that statement? Whatever they can give me, I can get more in my current situation, and I'm very happy with where I'm at.
Yeah, I think we should do our show from the Bikini Bash that Drew helped promote on Friday night. Yeah, we should.
I didn't know.
Well, you promoted it.
It's a good point.
You guys can enjoy the, as I said, fantastic nature of said event.
The bash on the 23rd. So we'll be in all bikinis all day.
Fantastic. Are you guys going to be there? You want to be? How about this? We can do another event there if you want to.
Do another event there?
Time. Someone else says, I've been married for 25 years. I think satisfied is the perfect word. All right, we'll get back to the Twin Peaks stuff coming up in the noon hour. On Friday, though, we learned a certain wide receiver is not signing in Kansas City. That's Zay Jones. He signed with the Cardinals. 1-year deal worth up to $4.25 million. So it's not an expensive deal. Wouldn't have cost a ton of money. I think this thing comes down to what role he could have in Arizona versus here, because I think he would have been a perfect insurance policy for the Chiefs. I think that's why they brought him in. They clearly were interested. You don't bring somebody in for a visit unless you're interested. But I wonder if Zay Jones weighed hey, look, I obviously got a better quarterback. Maybe I get a ring here, but I'm on a 1-year deal. How do I get a bigger deal? I got to be able to have playing time. And unless you know for sure Rashee Rice is missing half the season and they promise you that you're the next man up, which they clearly weren't promising, then that's why he chose Arizona. I'm a little bummed by it. Not that I'm like, oh my gosh, how could they let him not sign here?
For $4 million, yeah, come on over.
But it's a little disappointing. Look, they weren't going to promise him a role that he wasn't going to have. Then you have a disgruntled player in the season. So they probably were just honest with him about where they thought he would fit in.
Here's the problem with, I understand the notion that it might go down like this. You'd be like, well, they might just see where they are with Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, and if that doesn't work out, then they can make some calls. There aren't that many things to be critical on the Chiefs of. Obviously, they're back-to-back Super Bowl champions. I do think I'd be critical of going up that road again. You were given a full year to prove that that was the right plan. And at any point last year, was there even an inkling that that was the correct decision to stick with Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney as your available options? Hell no. Not even like 5 seconds of confidence in either party showing that they were the person to maybe move forward with, that there was hope that something was going to turn around in some facet. Maybe 3 plays where Kadarius Toney proved he was an athlete. That's not enough to say, let's try that again. I don't like the idea of just going back to training camp and be like, well, let's see if these guys can prove it again. I mean, how many times have they given that option? And look, some of it is because they don't know. They're taking a guess on the Rashee Rice suspension right now, like all of us are, which puts it, because again, if it's 4 games, we care a lot less that they're not shopping for veteran wide receivers. If it's 10, I care a lot more.
I wonder now, you just get to camp and you see what you got and see where everybody's health is at in your organization and around the league, and therefore how that can impact who they might be willing to part ways with. What are you seeing from Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney in camp? What are you seeing from Xavier Worthy during camp? All these things have to factor in. And then do you either see who maybe gets cut during camp, or do you call up the Titans for Treylon Burks then after they have Ridley and Hopkins and Boyd in camp and assume that they're healthy? I think that's where we're probably at. Unless Hunter Renfrow, Michael Thomas, and then it's MVS and McCall Hardman. Those are the guys that are out on the free agent market. I don't think you're rushing to go sign any of those players.
No, probably not. And again, not running out of the street, but they will find other teams eventually. They'll find other markets. You limit your scope further and further the quicker you don't act. And when it's $4 million, I'll be honest, the risk is worth it. Even if that guy doesn't really play for you, if they'll sign with you, why wouldn't you be bringing them on board? They don't have now look, Zay Jones had some options. Very obvious. Multiple teams that signed him. There were reports on Friday or Saturday that the Chiefs, they had mutual interest. The Chiefs were interested in Zay Jones. They were interested in bringing him in. There have been no reports about them being interested in anyone else so far, which is something we can keep an eye on now that maybe Zay Jones was one of their top choices. But I'll be kind of annoyed if they find out that the suspension, if they get some sense, because they'll get a sense better than we will, faster than we will. They get some sense that this suspension is going to be kind of longer. And they were just like, hey, Sky and Toney deserve another chance to prove it. Why? Sky Moore's had 2 years in this league. Kadarius Toney's had 3 or 4. He's going into year 4, so he's had 3 full years in this league. Neither of them have proven anything to this point. Not on the team, just in the league. Neither of them have proven any kind of consistency. The best season they've gotten out of any of them is 420 yards. Kadarius Toney's rookie year 3 years ago. I mean, it's hard to want to go back down that road. I think that's why I'm not I don't want to do that again. Why would you want to do that again?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I wonder if they just wait this thing out till training camp at this point. My guess is it sounds like Zay Jones, when he was taking all those visits, that was the week he was doing his visits, and his agent maybe said, hey, we're making a decision this week. And so coupled with the Rashee Rice incident that we still don't have any more real clarity on, still no charges, by the way, with the nightclub incident or anything, and we don't know if there ever will be charges. But Zay Jones was already taking visits that week, so if you're the Chiefs, this guy's out there taking visits. Well, let's bring him in. He's making a decision. Let's see if we can't come to terms on something. Whereas Michael Thomas, Hunter Renfrow, MVS Hardman, none of those guys are taking visits anywhere. Right. At
least not that I'm hearing, yeah.
Right? I mean,
they might just be waiting for an injury, like a lot of teams do, where they're just I'm waiting for that one quarterback-hungry wide receiver. You know how it is. It's usually backup quarterbacks. I'm waiting for that one wide receiver-hungry team because somebody gets injured, and then they'll need somebody. They'll just need a body at that point and happily toss me $4 million, and they'll give me a couple of $1 million guaranteed, and I'll move on to my next team. Because all of them, if you're a wide receiver at that level, and they're all making about the same now, right? Zay Jones, we talked about this with all the other free agent wide receivers the Chiefs have mentioned recently. They're all making $4 to $6 million. Tyler Boyd, whatever. This point, if the money's the same, they're just looking for a place that'll actually throw them the football.
Mm-hmm.
And Kansas City's not a great place for that yet, unless Rashee Rice is gone for a season or something, in which case those guys are guessing, which means they're going to kind of have to sign people late.
we earlier this hour were talking about George Karlaftis, and we know Karlaftis has worked a lot with Tom Bali.
Yeah.
Right? He's been a help in the offseason, helping with their hand speed and just some of the movements, and a lot of players have given Tom Bali a ton of credit. Tom Bali also will be inducted into the Chiefs Hall of Fame this season. That was announced a couple weeks ago around the NFL draft, and Tombo was doing an interview here recently over the weekend and brought up a scenario going back to the 2018 season, and Alex Smith, of course, was the starting quarterback, and we know how that season went. There were multiple times where people are like, hey,
from the middle of the season when they lost to the Jets and the Giants
from the outside
in back-to-back weeks in New York, two miserable teams, that was the most smoke it got
for Mahomes to be in instead of Smith from the outside. But listen to Tombo talk about how maybe players were feeling. This was interesting. I hadn't heard this one before.
I can't say I saw all of these championships, but I knew we had a great player that came in the building. I could tell you that. I mean, at times we wanted him to play. You know, we wanted him to be on the field. But, yeah, I mean, shout out to Pat, man. What he's done here in Kansas City. It's going to be a while. I mean, anybody to follow up, it's going to be a while.
Like, why
now,
say
look,
that?
it's been 6-7 years at this point, but just to hear that you kind of suspected that maybe it would happen, but hearing a player admit that, like, no, in the locker room, there were plenty of us in the locker room that were thinking that Mahomes should have been playing. And that sucks for Alex Smith for it to come out now. But we all kind of knew fan-wise that was definitely the sentiment. And now he's viewed so much differently in Kansas City because of the way he handled his business, because of how he did help Mahomes, because of what he did in D.C. and then the terrible injury and the story inside. Now he's I
would have I never understood, and I've fought with people about it. I never understood the viscera for Alex Smith then. You were the worst franchise in the sport. You were drafting number 1 overall. Your franchise was in complete turmoil. And him and Andy Reid together, I think, brought you stability, playoff games, division titles, relevancy. And it gave you enough confidence, maybe, to go draft Mahomes, even more so than just like the development. But look, I don't know that you want to admit that. I'm not surprised by that, though. Think about it. They were in year 4 or 5? They had seen Alex Smith. They had seen what Alex Smith had to offer. They had gone to this middle ground of play where they knew they could compete for division titles every year. They knew they could win a playoff game. They knew they could hang a little, but they probably got to a point where they had to feel like they weren't getting over the hump. And in the middle of that season, again, Alex Smith was playing terrible. The team was playing terrible. And for the first time, and they already had a quarterback they knew they were going to give the job to eventually. And if you couple that with everything we've heard about what practice was like with Patrick Mahomes his rookie year, of course. I mean, we have heard 7 players, not say they were ready for Mahomes to start, but how many players do we hear say, he was carving up our number 1 defense and we were getting, annoyed? He's supposed to be the scout team guy, and he was destroying us in practice, and we were getting frustrated that we couldn't do anything to stop this guy.
There were front-page headlines on ESPN that Mahomes was throwing interceptions the next year in camp, and, man, they were in big trouble. Big trouble. He was throwing those training camp interceptions, That was going to translate to a poor success in the NFL, and fast forward now, we can laugh at it even more.
Yeah, I mean, of course we can. But,
That was a real thing, though. That happened.
Oh, no, it was front page on ESPN.com.
Yeah. And now it's hilarious knowing what it's ultimately been: 3 titles and a couple Super Bowl MVPs and regular season MVPs and back-to-back and going for a first three-peat in NFL history.
I mean, I was wrong. I remember very vividly a conversation I was having with a friend of mine, Brent, who I'll give credit to at this time. I remember vividly having a conversation with him in November, December of that year. It's that same time when the Jets or Giants are going there. And he was like, hey, I was getting in an argument with your brother at the time, I think is who it was. And he was like, I think that the Chiefs are just as likely. I think they're more, he said, I think they're better off. They're more likely to win a Super Bowl this year if they start Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, all right, look, relax. Alex Smith is a veteran quarterback. He knows what he's doing. Better chance to win the Super Bowl? Get out of here. There's just no way. It doesn't make sense that would be the case. And so I was fighting against him on that regard. In retrospect, way better chance. They've had a real chance to win the Super Bowl. They were in a close game against the team who eventually won it, by the way, in the New England Patriots with Alex Smith. And now we know what Patrick Mahomes is. honest to God, you can't convince me in my brain that if they had started Patrick Mahomes the second half of that season, they don't win the Super Bowl. Not at the rate they're currently winning it.
Yeah.
And they had a great defense. You can't convince me that they wouldn't have had a real chance with the weapons they had on staff and the defense they had that year, that rookie Patrick Mahomes halfway through the season might not have taken him to the promised land. He might have. They might have won the Super Bowl. And I'll tell you right now, if it went back in a time machine, they'd have a better chance to win it if it was my call to who to start.
Yeah, knowing what we know now, it's like a very obvious, sure. You know what I mean? Like, I know you said that your buddy brought it up then, but I'm just saying.
No, kudos to him. That's why I was giving him verbal credit.
Knowing what we know now, I mean, well, no kidding. You know what I mean? Like, obviously. I mean,
but
he's going to go down
as a real question.
Yeah, he's going to go down as either the greatest quarterback of all time or the second greatest, depending on how this all sorts out over the next, decade or so for Mahomes' career. But still, man, you wouldn't really change a thing still, considering how it's all turned out. They didn't pull Alex Smith. So you didn't have that going on, and ultimately now this organization, of course, has become the best organization, not just in football, but in all sports in terms of success and what they've been able to do.
Absolutely. I just thought the fascinating part is that they were thinking it too. Like, because, again, Chiefs fans, of course, they had just taken a quarterback 10th overall. They would have traded Alex Smith, and fans, the Chiefs fans never really bought into Alex Smith anyway. They were always kind of like, I knew a bunch of people anti the extension, like they were looking for something better, and rightfully so. They were looking for like the Hall of Fame caliber player, but they had so many bad quarterbacks for so long. I always liked the Smith deal, not just because of the stuff that happened either. I liked it in the beginning because it brought you stability. I also think you in a weird way, you can't be great until you at least are okay, It's hard. And sometimes quarterbacks do it. Peyton Manning gets drafted by the Colts and they're just good. Andrew Luck gets drafted by the Colts when Peyton Manning's hurt, and they're just good. Quarterback play can change a lot, but, man, they needed it at that time. I just think it's fascinating the players at some point were kicking around being like, sure we don't want that guy? By the way, no wonder you didn't. That's a hard way to go about winning a season, if at any point you thought that. I'll be honest. If your teammates are thinking about that at your quarterback, the odds of you winning the Super Bowl got to be 0.5%.
Someone brings up an interesting point from the text line, too. If they would have made the switch earlier, would Spags have ended up here? Because would they have made the switch Bob Sutton earlier, or would have Bob Sutton have lasted a couple more years? And so would we have had Spags, who now is the best defensive coordinator in football? And if there was ever going to be a coordinator that makes the Hall of Fame, it's going to be Steve Spagnuolo. I know Spags didn't get here till 2019. Mahomes had already been playing, but the point is, let's say they switched to Mahomes earlier and they have more success quicker. Does that would the leash have been even longer on Bob Sutton, or would it have been shorter? What do you think would have played out? Would Spags have been here in 2019 still? Because you could argue if they would have won a Super Bowl, they probably wouldn't have fired the defensive coordinator.
No, they wouldn't. Bob Sutton, no, they probably.
You know what I mean?
They probably wouldn't have had reason to. Oh man, God's a good question. He's such a loyalist. I don't think they get Spags.
Spags is somebody somewhere else in 2019.
It's the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to go down that road because it opens up an entire can. None of us would go back. You're right. In the time machine scenario of the butterfly effect, I don't go back and change anything.
No.
They got 3 Super Bowl titles in their last 5 years. There's no reason for me to go about changing those things up. That would be crazy. But then it's just oh man, I don't know. It, of course, they were thinking about it. Again, all of us were thinking about it. It is nice to be in this position. Like I told you, sometimes it's hard because I think people don't want to hear I don't think critical conversation about the Chiefs. They're hey, the ways we would do certain things if we're in charge. Because, I could talk about Karlaftis or the wide receiver position. You can have varied opinions on which way it is. But overall, what can you really bury them for? They're the absolute epitome of what a great organization
best coach, best GM, best quarterback
best
in
tight
football.
End.
Yeah. And it's not
best
just
defensive coordinator.
And of course, it's not just that. There's plenty of teams that have had the best at multiple areas. Doesn't mean they're always winning. They've been able to cash in when they've been in those spots just about every time. Obviously, the exception of the Bucs Super Bowl when they just got decimated with the offensive line injuries. But they made sure that the offensive line was never going to be that way again. They went out and attacked it. It led to them finding their center of the future, assuming Creed Humphrey gets an extension this year. It led to them signing Joe Tooney, who's one of the best left guards in all of football. You know what I mean? It's just they've been able to push all the right buttons. Really since Mahomes started playing.
But probably since Andy Reid got it. I'll be honest.
Well, that we know.
You can push all the right buttons and not win Super Bowls. they've essentially been a nearly, not flawless, but they've been a near perfect organization from a plan perspective since Andy Reid showed up in the building. That kicked off the let's make great plans.
It got them out of the hole. I mean, we all, but when Andy was brought in, I mean, this was the worst, one of the worst franchises in football.
Both on and off the field.
There was plenty of unfortunate things going on as well. You're right about that. All right, up next, we'll get to what's trending, and we now know who the Chiefs will be welcoming into Arrowhead week 1 of the season as they put up another banner. What does it tell us about the rest of the schedule? That's next.
Hey, it's Vinny Pasquantino. Don't forget to follow Cody and Gold on the Odyssey app so you can listen on demand to my terrific football takes throughout the year right here on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
With summer fast approaching, you're going to want to look your best at the pool and lake. And back in November, I was nowhere near ready for either. I was sluggish, my workouts weren't great, and I was carrying around extra weight. I stopped by Supplement Superstores and told them I wanted to lose 10 to 15 pounds. Almost a half year later, I'm down close to 30 pounds and feeling great. There isn't a day that goes by where someone doesn't tell me how good I look. And I'm not going to lie, it's an amazing feeling. Since that November day when I walked into the Ward Parkway location of Supplement Superstores, I've dropped weight, improved my workouts, and have more energy now than ever before. I'm using the Flashpoint Complex. It's a refreshing drink in the morning when I wake up that gives me sustained energy all day long without the jitters. Then, right before bed, I have another refreshing drink that helps me recover from the day and helps me sleep better than ever before. So when you're ready, stop into any of the 8 Kansas City area Supplement Superstores and tell them I sent you. You'll get 20% off the Flashpoint Complex. Supplement Superstores, when you're ready to feel your best.
The sun is out, the water's fine, and the crew is ready to party. Summer is here. Hy-Vee has everything you need to make a huge splash this Memorial Day. Fire up the grill and impress your guests with prime reserve steaks, chicken grillers, or specialty brats. Don't forget our ready-to-serve side dishes. Cool off with some tasty refreshments from our wide selection of beverages, wine, and spirits. Make a splash into summer this Memorial Day weekend at your Kansas City area Hy-Vee.
Hey, it's Kling. There are many reasons to love my friends from Hy-Vee. The selection, the prices. And Hy-Vee's always finding new ways to save me lots of money, especially at the gas pump. Just the other day, 75 cents off per gallon. I've just been racking up those fuel savers, and you can too. I'm actually headed to Hy-Vee on Monday to save 45 cents a gallon on gas when I spend just $45 in groceries in honor of Christian Lundgaard's number 45 IndyCar. Proudly sponsored by Hy-Vee. You can rev up your savings as well this Monday only at Hy-Vee.
Are you in need of top-quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Bronius Professional Welding Equipment, service and repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the Foot.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Mortgage rates have finally dropped. That's right. Golden Oak has 5.375% fixed rates available right now. Our average cash-out customer saves over $1,000 a month. Call today and take advantage of our 5.375 fixed rate. Call 913-890-GOLD. That's 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.934 APR. FHA 15-year 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Are you getting ready to jet off on your next adventure? Make your travel experience stress-free with KC's best airport parking destination, Park and Go. No need to worry about the elements because all spots are covered. Park and Go's quick and easy shuttle services pick you up right at your car and take you straight to the terminal. Always the best service and always the best price at bookparkandgo.com. Open 24/7, fast and hassle-free. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, family owned and operated.
If you're facing $10, $20, even $30,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt, stop struggling to stay afloat and call Accredited Debt Relief today for faster relief. Depending on your financial situation, you may qualify for a 40% or higher reduction in your monthly payments and only have to make one consolidated monthly payment you can afford. Accredited Debt Relief has helped over 300,000 qualified consumers pay off over $1 billion in debt, earning them an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. This is the light at the end of the debt tunnel to become debt-free. So make the call to Accredited Debt Relief now and see how much you can save. There's no obligation, so call now and get relief from your debt faster.
We've made it easy to connect. Just dial pound 250 on your cell phone and say the keyword financial freedom. Again, dial pound 250 and say financial freedom. That's pound 250 and say financial freedom.
Program and services not available in all states.
Looking for a new show to dive into? Well, go to Hulu and see what's new because Hulu has new stuff all the time, like the full season of FX's epic limited series Shogun, FX's new international spy thriller The Veil, starring Emmy and Golden Globe winner Elizabeth Moss, and don't miss the all-new crime series Under the Bridge, inspired by shocking true events and starring Riley Keough and Lily Gladstone. It's all new and it's streaming right now on Hulu.
Family Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data, and you get to choose who joins your family plan starting as low as $25 a line.
Does it have to be family?
It can be family or people you like.
Get more lines and more savings. Switch to Straight Talk for family plan starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Did you know that you can watch Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or Facebook? This way you can see the look on Alex's face when Cody starts singing Pasquantino live. What? 610 Sports Radio, KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, and Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on what's trending, we know the Chiefs' opening night opponent. The full NFL schedule release is coming out on Wednesday, but we now know Chiefs and Ravens that Thursday night at Arrowhead as the Chiefs will put up another banner. The odds are already out. The Chiefs 3-point favorites against the Baltimore Ravens week 1 of the NFL season. Over under set 49.5.
We spent a little bit too much time talking about what the banner was going to look like because we didn't know if they would differ from the last one. They did not. Looks exactly the same. So I will presume this banner looks exactly the same. We don't have to spend time doing that. But we'll talk more about that matchup coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Next up on What's Trending, Royals get the series against the Angels, take 3 games out of 4, win the rubber match game last night behind an absolutely stunning performance by Seth Lugo, who went 8 innings of 12 strikeout baseball in the winning effort yesterday. They're set to take on the Mariners for a 3-game set starting tonight, who are currently first place in the AL West, so not a light opponent for them. If you're curious about are we already scoreboard watching for the other teams?
Not full-on scoreboard watching. I'm aware of where the Guardians and Tour are at, but I'm not full-blown, like, tonight checking in on the Guardians
take on the
score,
Rangers, by the way, on the road, a difficult opponent. And then the Twins start a series tomorrow against the Yankees, who currently have the best record in the American League.
Next up on What's Trending, NBA postseason continued over the weekend, most notably yesterday. How about the Pacers? They've evened that series up at 2 games apiece. There's been multiple injuries on the Knicks side, but yesterday was flat out embarrassing for New York. They lose 121-89. Just they were done after the first quarter. This is what Josh Hart even said about the Knicks.
I don't know. I mean, I put that on my shoulders. I'm supposed to be, the energy guy of the team, and I didn't do anything. I gave nothing. So I put that on my shoulders, but now we just got to focus on resting, recovering, and like I said, get ready for Tuesday.
So both teams that were up 2-0 in their series have now seen it evened up. Knicks, Pacers coming up again tomorrow night, even at 2 apiece. The Nuggets, even their series. They won 2 on the road in Minnesota. Nuggets 115-107 over the Timberwolves. So that series tied up tonight. Got a couple games. Boston leads the Cavs 2-1. And then later on this evening, the Mavericks taking on the Thunder. Dallas up 2-1.
Next up on What's Trending, speaking of the NBA draft lottery took place last night. Atlanta, victors of that, or was it last night? 2 nights ago. 2 nights
Yesterday
ago.
afternoon, I think.
Oh, yesterday.
Right?
Yeah, I was about to say, it was just this weekend. I can't remember which day. But LeBron James' son, Bronny, is expected to stay in the NBA draft, according to multiple reports this morning from Shams and others. Again, he was not a very good player at USC this year. Some of the scouts say that defensively he can play right now in the NBA, but certainly not much of a scorer. I think a lot of this is Bronny must be getting enough interest from NBA scouts for it worthy, or maybe his dad's telling him to get in the NBA. There's still a lot of thought around the league that if you are the team that is willing to get Bronny, he wants to play with his son on the same team. So if you're the Knicks and you want LeBron James to come to the New York Knicks this offseason, drafting Bronny might get him for you.
Yeah, I still think he ends up getting drafted by the Lakers. Like, they'll finagle his way to the Lakers.
Maybe.
Via trade. Like, they'll even offer, if they have to, they'll offer up a trade even if somebody else already drafts Bronny.
It's the same thing. But these teams that want LeBron James Jr., he's going to get overdrafted, right? It's almost a certainty.
Probably so. Next up on What's Trending, local soccer, Sporting Kansas City. Their struggles continue. They fell to the Houston Dynamo 2-1 on Saturday out at Children's Mercy Park, and they continue to have late game struggles, to say the least, blowing leads. That happened again. KC Current, meanwhile, they stay perfect at home. They get the 1-0 win over the North Carolina Courage. So the KC Current keep on rolling. They'll play on Saturday out at CPKC Stadium.
Still haven't lost a match this season.
That's right.
They have 9 matches, 6 wins, 3 draws.
First place in the
21
league.
points. Just ahead of the Orlando Pride. That's pretty good. Haven't even lost a game. I mean, when you're talking this far into the season, that feels really good.
And lastly, on What's Trending, don't forget tomorrow, Wiffle at the Hollow, benefiting the Battle Within. It's George Tomel Wiffle Ball Field at the corner of 52nd and Warnell. You can go out there and see how many home runs you can hit for a great cause and to win some prizes. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow. They're 52nd and Warnell. We've been out there a couple of years, and you guys maybe have already seen the setup. It's truly an amazing deal that they do with the field out there to make it a fun atmosphere. So even if you're at work, got a little bit of time, stop by on a lunch break or whatever, hit a couple bombs and see if you can't win some prizes and also raise some money for a great cause, the Battle Within. Tomorrow, Mitch Holtis, who will be out at the event, is going to join us. We'll talk some Chiefs football and his thoughts on the event and everything going on.
He spoke after it last year, but it is a lot of fun to try to see if you can hit homers. They got a green monster there in left field, so you're trying to hit homers over the tall fence too, which is a lot of fun. But like you said, it's a perfect lunch break thing to help raise money for the Battle Within. An organization in Kansas City does a lot of good for veterans who need mental health services and for the first responders who need mental health services. An incredibly important organization.
So that's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. One of the first items we mentioned during What's Trending was the Chiefs' opening game has been officially announced early this morning. The NFL announcing that Chiefs-Ravens will open up the NFL season in 2024 at Arrowhead. Of course, the banner unveiling and the ceremony, always a cool moment. We got to experience that last year against the Lions. Hopefully this go around, it's a different result at the stadium where
Ideally.
the Chiefs lost to the Lions. The Chiefs
Didn't matter the end result, so I don't care now.
It didn't. Baltimore, you get the AFC title game rematch, and the storylines there. It's hey, the Chiefs beat you if you're Baltimore. There was also the pregame controversy of Justin Tucker oddly putting the ball at the 1 yard line, annoying Mahomes, but the Chiefs admitted it kind of fired them up. Travis Kelce was defending his guy. And if you're Baltimore, I mean, this is the team, much like we've talked about for years with Buffalo, this is the team that is preventing you from going to championships or winning a championship, going to Super Bowls, and you're playing them week 1. I think there's a huge mental edge the rest of the season. If the Chiefs can win the opener, it's not huge for the standings necessarily. It's week 1, okay? But if you beat them, it means you would have beat them twice in a row.
Yep.
And in their last 2 games played of football. Zay Flowers, right? You fumbled the last time you played the Chiefs at the goal line, a huge swing. L'Jarius Sneed punches out the football. I just think and you just gave up on running the football against Kansas City.
That was the weirdest part of that game.
I think psychologically there's a big advantage going in for Kansas City, but also could have a season-lasting impact if the Chiefs beat the Ravens again.
Unlike the other teams who have gotten the better of the Chiefs in the regular season, the Bills have gotten the better of the Chiefs in some regular season games. The Bengals have gotten, taken care of the Chiefs in some regular season games and one time in the postseason. Like, they've at least beaten the Chiefs and feel like they can do it once. The Ravens aren't good against the Chiefs. They got one regular season win in Baltimore a couple of years ago. And outside of that, this has been an incredibly one-sided matchup.
4-1, including the postseason.
Yeah, it's been all Kansas City. And I think more importantly now is like any team taking them on in the first week, you get a chance to set a standard for yourself for the rest of the year. I think the Chiefs maybe make their voice really heard if they come back out here on week 1 again this year. Because the Lions last year, if they had beaten the Lions, I don't think everyone would have been like, well, here come the Chiefs, because no one was sure that the Lions were going to do it again. There are no doubts for anyone that, barring injury, the Ravens will be one of the 3 best teams in the AFC again next year. They have a 2-time MVP winning quarterback, a future Hall of Fame head coach, and they have tried to add more weapons, including Derrick Henry, to their arsenal this offseason to compete with some of the high-flying offenses of the AFC. It's an intriguing matchup. I'm surprised they burned this one so early, considering it is the AFC title game rematch. But in fairness, the Chiefs have former AFC title game rematches against the Bengals, the Bills, the former Super Bowl matchup with the 49ers. The Chiefs have played in a number of these important games. You don't have to stash former matchups of important games anymore.
Well, and the schedule's loaded anyway. I mean, we already know. I mean, you're playing first place schedule. Also, I don't know about you, but the championship rematch carries way more weight in week 1 than if the Chiefs were playing the Ravens as week 14. In November, I'm not going to really care about the AFC.
I'm going to be talking about what's coming up.
Right, this year's AFC. Whereas in week 1, we can still look back. I mean, it was the last game the Ravens played. Literally, the last game the Ravens played was against the Chiefs. So I get why that storyline holds more weight in week 1. Everybody thought it was going to be the Texans. We talked a ton about Stroud Mahomes, and I understood the logic, but when we were going through this, I thought maybe they would put Cincinnati here just because
I thought maybe the Chargers.
Later on in the year, you're going to get Stroud. You think you're going to know you're going to get Stroud Mahomes maybe for the number 1 seed, so maybe you schedule that later. We'll find out the full schedule Wednesday night, but this will likely leak out more and more. But the one thing we know confirmed now, Chiefs-Ravens, Thursday night at Arrowhead. I think tickets are on sale on Thursday. For single game tickets and everything. And it's going to be an incredible atmosphere, as it always is, but that always carries some special weight when you have the Lombardi trophies out on display, and then we'll see a new banner get unveiled at Arrowhead. I'm trying to think then, okay, so this is a primetime game. You can have, 6? Is that right? Maybe
Chiefs get 7 because of the Thursday night one doesn't technically count as a primetime, the opener.
So 6 more primetime games are to come with the schedule. And
whether
or not
it's avoid Christmas Day. Is that so much to ask?
I don't think they'll be stuck on Christmas Day again.
I'd even take a Thanksgiving Day night game this time if that's what it took.
They might be due for Thanksgiving.
It's been a while.
They might
the
be
last
due.
time they did remember, they were the first ever Thanksgiving night game. And everybody at the time was like, do they become a new tradition? And the NFL's like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to do the 2 teams. And we can't shake off Lions, Cowboys. And now they certainly wouldn't because both teams are competitive.
Yeah, I don't want the every Thanksgiving night game anyway. But it does seem like they might be due. I don't think they'll get stuck with Christmas Day again. The 2 Wednesday games that are going to be on Netflix this year. I don't think they'll be one of those.
It sounds like one of those is going to be on NBC, by the way. The reporting has changed on that a little bit, where Netflix might not get both, but one might be on NBC, one might be on Netflix.
That's fine. Yeah, Netflix not as problematic as the Peacock issue.
There are 270 million subscribers.
Yeah, Peacock has 35 million. So most I won't say everybody, right? Someone will text and say I don't have it, but most people probably, if you're in that world of streaming, you probably have Netflix or sharing. I guess they've cracked down on the sharing of the passwords for Netflix, whatever. But just more like Netflix has been around a lot longer than any of these other. It was one of the original streaming apps we all had. It really was. Still remember the day we were getting the Netflix DVDs in the mail, man, and red envelopes.
Did you get those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I definitely got those.
Yeah,
Drew probably doesn't remember.
And I know Redbox is still around, but I don't know who's still using Redbox. Why?
It's cheaper.
Is it?
I mean, would that be the only argument? Yeah, you can still get it for like a couple of bucks.
If you want,
versus like spending $5 to rent it on Prime. I'll be honest, I might pay for the privilege.
Stay at home.
It might sound like, oh, look at Cody flaunting his millions of dollars with a $5 rental. I've never paid for a $15 one. I'm never renting like the new releases for $15. I don't know, man. If it's on there for $3.99,
if you wanted a brand new movie that just came out, I feel like Redbox was fine because it wouldn't cost you $15 to do it. It would just cost you $3. But
I used to use Redbox, but I haven't.
Yeah, now no way.
Checked a Redbox kiosk. I know they still exist, but I haven't checked the kiosk in 7 years.
I don't have a DVD player in the main area of my home. I don't have something that would play a DVD.
I just have my
in the primary area of my building. I don't know. I don't know why I would. I don't know.
I do think I do remember the envelope thing though.
Back in the day,
we
I
never
had
did the Netflix envelope
the
thing, but-
Netflix, 2 or 3 out at a time. You had
The
a
worst was the
mailbag.
television shows. You'd be waiting so long to be getting those back and stuff.
The Netflix envelope. I even had one for games back, like when I was super video game nerdy. I had games. It was called GameFly. Yeah, it still exists, I think. GameFly.
I still think one of my favorite weekends of my entire childhood was the N64 would come out, but we were too poor to get one. Like, we didn't have one yet. We didn't have the money for it yet. But we got to, for a 3-day weekend, rent one and a couple of games.
You could rent the consoles. That's right.
Man, that was living. A whole weekend of N64. And I mean, it was just
Play
like,
the thing as much as you
look
could, probably.
dude. My parents let us play it 24 hours a day for 3 days straight. We got every damn cent of whatever that rental cost. I don't know what it cost, but we got every penny's worth of the value of that 3-day N64 rental.
I forgot you could.
You could rent the whole console.
That goes
dude.
back to the Blockbuster days, man. Blockbuster.
That's
Then
where
they
it
tried to get in the game stuff. They had like a game section. Like they rebranded. It was Blockbuster, but it was like this orange color scheme, and one part of the store was just for games. Did the midnight release? Oh yeah, those were the days. I know Drew's been talking about this college football video game every day.
I think
every day Drew has a new update for us. What's the latest?
I think Thursday is when it is when the full reveal is. There's a Twitter account that's dedicated to it. I saw that there might be 3 different versions. There was a leak potentially of the deluxe edition.
How much are we talking for the game? Are they going to try to gouge the public here?
Well, standard has traditionally been with the new console $70. That's what it is.
Well, okay,
that's steep, but it's the price.
The deluxe, I would guess, is like $99.99. They haven't come out with anything like that. And then there's a leaked, like potentially Heisman edition, which is $150, where you get everything you get with the other 2 editions, and then you might get like some sort of collector's box if you're really into it. That's
Drew,
if
how
you get
much is the
physical one.
console? The game is $150 for. I don't even have to get the Heisman edition. But $150.
I'm not going to.
The console is brand new. What, $300, $250? I spent half the money on just the one game.
At least, probably. So mine was. I got a PS5.
Crazy.
The digital one is cheaper because you don't have the physical game discs. You save about $100, but mine was $300. That was mine.
The toughest part about the digital end is that, like, this is the thing about streaming, like not owning DVDs, is that like you, like I say, you subscribe to HBO because you want to watch a TV show, and then they take it away, and you're like, but back when I was buying the DVD, no one stopped. I owned it forever. Like that game, right? I can't resell it if I'm tired of it.
Right.
I can't give it to a buddy if I'm sick of playing it.
That's
it's just me. I'm the only person who gets to play this damn thing.
And yet,
Stinks.
GameStop stock is up today for very different reasons. But
this makes me
people
every
aren't
time
trading in games as much.
Every time we talk about games, it makes me want to get out like I've got all my old stuff from life. I have my regular Nintendo, my Super Nintendo. I got a power pad and a super. Like I've got whatever random. I got a power glove. I got my N64. It kind of makes you just like, I'm like, you know what? I still own all these things, and no one can take them away.
You sound like Cody and Gold garage sale items coming up next month.
I got to give away my N64. I've had that thing since I was a kid.
Well, you said the other accessories maybe you're not using.
The N64 might actually be worth a little bit.
I haven't used the power glove like twice. I don't know. How often am I using a power glove?
Might go for something on
I don't know
eBay
what a
or
power.
something.
What is?
It's an accessory.
It's an accessory for the regular Nintendo.
Okay.
I don't expect you to.
I do not know what that is.
No, you're and I'm assuming you never saw the 1989 movie The Wizard. Probably not, in which they use the power glove. Okay.
The first console that we ever had was a GameCube because we couldn't afford on the same wavelength as you, Cody. Couldn't afford like a PlayStation, Xbox. So we got the GameCube. That's I still have that.
What a weird console that was, by the way. Just
GameCube?
this small,
GameCube?
tiny disc.
Little discs. I like the GameCube.
I had a GameCube. I mean, Nintendo at the time was probably my favorite console until we moved up a little bit. But
I was playing NBA Street the other day.
Oh, you were still playing it?
Oh yeah. I still have.
Well, was this before or after you were at Twin Peaks on Friday night?
I haven't played the Wii in a few weeks now, but
because that's what I want to talk
about. The Wii.
Because I want to talk about Twin Peaks.
Why, and the awkwardness that was.
You were there Friday night supporting a great cause, right? You were $1.
Correct.
If people bought a certain beer, they got it. $1 went to first responders. So it was a great cause. You were out there, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Yep.
Drew, you were standing next to 2 beautiful ladies at one point in the video that went out on our social media account, and that had people talking. That got people talking, and you ended up doing a second video. And the audio doesn't do this justice. People need to check out the video. Let me just play you the full video. Cody was right earlier. We didn't get the full breakdown. There was a lot to break down in the audio and video. Let me just start this off. And this is unedited, as in you guys didn't even edit the video audio either.
All right, I'm rolling, and we can cut it when we need. What's up, guys? This is Drew from 610 Sports Radio in KC. We're here at Twin Peaks. A lot of stuff going on. You can come out all the way up until 7 o'clock. They've got a lot of stuff going on. You get a chance to go to the Tigers game on Monday. All you got to do is give a little information to us. Then there's going to be a drawing. What you girls got going on here, $1 for every single beer that is sold throughout the month of May. And the goal is $30,000, right? Is that? Yes. The goal is $30,000? Okay. $3.50 Bud Light aluminums, and then there's a $2 deal for the Bud Light stuff as well. What is that exactly? $2 for 22 ounces?
$2 for our Twin Peaks light beer.
Okay, sweet. Is there anything else that you have going on that you want to promote? Say you got something, some sort of event going on?
Yes, we do. We have a bikini bash on the 23rd. So we'll be in all bikinis all day.
Fantastic. Again, come out here until 7 o'clock. You guys get a chance to go to the game against the Tigers on Monday here at Twin Peaks in Olathe.
Oh, I love that. Again, the favorite part, though, we've got our bikini bash coming up.
Fantastic.
And it's coming up on the 23rd. We'll be in full bikinis all day. Drew, fantastic.
So
I sound like Kevin from Home Alone.
I couldn't tell.
I almost cussed there. From Home Alone.
Were you uncomfortable?
I don't think I wasn't uncomfortable. I realized halfway through, hey, this first take's going really well. I did realize that I was talking a little bit fast, and
that's fine. Yeah,
there was a little bit of awkwardness there. So,
well, yes,
I couldn't tell if the girl next to you, the one on your left, was she looking at your notes or checking you out?
Yeah, she was staring at you.
It's one of the two. She did the up and down. I couldn't tell if she was trying to look at Drew's notes.
Probably the notes, because I was using, like, we
there was a lot going on, right?
We game planned a little bit ahead of time. Like, okay, I'm going to read these things off. I'm going to ask you what you got going on, promote the event, and then we'll
There's so many great moments. It's like, what do you two ladies have going on tonight? You know, it was great. What do you two ladies have going on? Is there anything you want to promote? Oh, we've got a bikini bash. Fantastic.
I had great news.
Hey, you know what?
I kind of feel like we need Drew to go to the bikini bash now.
Fantastic.
You should go on the 23rd. Do a live report for us, please.
Can you bring your wife?
Somebody text that in. Oh, I know it's fine.
Someone says, first signs of mold poisoning, being nervous around women. Nice callback. Drew moved into a new apartment that is much, much better.
Did you take one more photo of how bad the mold was in that place before you left?
I did, and I sent it to the weirdest thing. So the mold had come back partially, real quick. The mold had come back partially. I took a picture and said, hey, just so you know, I know we're moving out in a few days, but I wanted to let you know, here's some more leaking. It's in a new spot now. The leaking was, the mold's still in the same spot. I didn't hear anything back. Saturday, we're moving out. And before we had already cleaned everything out, and it had gotten progressively much worse.
While you were moving out?
While we were moving out.
Because it was raining, too?
Final picture I took, I also left a note, and I told them this morning when I dropped off the keys, I was like, just so you know, again, the mold, I didn't hear back from you at all. I emailed you a new picture. It's really bad. There's a bunch of mold everywhere. You can clearly see it. Just wanted to let you know. So, yeah, very, very excited that we are in a new spot now.
Man, I got to see the photos now.
I can show you the. I will.
I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Fortunately, you're.
No, but I told him he should have been trying to get the prorated rent back.
I still fight for that, but I just
when
mean
you see it,
at least you're out of there.
It is egregiously bad.
It's really funny now that they ever fought you on the mold at all. Like, well, if there's mold.
They backtracked on that quick though. The minute they knew that he was
Someone
serious
got that mold
about the
test back
testing,
and it was bad.
Yeah, the minute they knew you were serious about getting it tested, they're like, "Well, we'll just let you out of the apartment. Go ahead." So now you're a Wyandotte guy. You're a Wyandotte County KCK.
Correct. Very, very excited to be in that.
Is there a Twin Peaks out by you there? Do you know?
There might be in Gladstone, actually.
I don't know.
It's
I don't know
closer to Cody than it is
there
me,
one my
I think.
way? I think there's one off of
some scenic
Barry?
views. Drew was at the Twin Peaks somewhat closer to me. I mean,
yeah,
Drew,
I was
you
right
want to
down
go
the
to the
road from
bikini bash on the 23rd?
You guys should go together.
Hang on. The more that you're talking about this, sounds like you really are. You're really up for this.
Well, you did a great job promoting it,
Thank
man.
you.
That's what it was.
Everyone wants to go.
It's my job.
You did a great job. That was the key. So now you've got everybody excited. The text line's considering going as well. They heard there's a lot going on, and it's gonna be fantastic.
You know what? As well, I tried to. I took it and I leaned into the awkwardness, and we made the second video.
Yeah, the second video.
It's not as good as the first, I don't think, in terms of line. In terms
that
of
audio
like,
at the beginning.
phrases.
Yeah, that audio at the beginning. Like, you can just cut this out when we're done. And
All right, I'm rolling, and we can cut it when we need.
I swear I cut it out. Shout out to Cam, because I told him I didn't realize this.
That's the best.
Kim looked at the video after I posted and said, "Dude, did you trim the video?" I said, "Yes," and he said, "No, you didn't."
Well, it's good to know it wasn't Cam's fault. Sounds like he's innocent. Cam, you're innocent.
It was absolutely my.
All right, I'm rolling, and we can cut it when we need.
What's up, guys? This is Drew.
Shout out to Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks.
Just because
scenic
of all
views.
this apartment stuff, it doesn't mean text line you have to shout out a Bengals diss as well at the same time. What's leakier than your old apartment, or what's leakier, your old apartment or the Bengals O-line? Settle down.
Someone said we can repurpose our General MacArthur hats we're going to have on the 21st and wear them to the Bikini Bash. We can all dress as
you can identify as MacArthur's
members. Yeah, we're coming home from battle.
God.
Coming home from battle
my
at the
goodness.
K, and we're just going to Twin Peaks.
Oh, my
afterwards.
gosh.
MacArthur 2 for 2 in his last 2 save opportunities.
That's right. We'll ignore the home run. He got a save.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad, man.
Picture. Oh, you sent it to us?
Oh, yeah, the mold. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's pretty bad. It's a lot of mold.
Yeah, that's like... I'm probably just going to put a fresh coat of paint over it and be good to
That's
go.
what I told him, dude. I said he should have left a note secretly in like a back of a cabinet for the new person.
It almost looks
he
like...
should warn them.
I mean, that's just... I mean, they need to tear out the whole wall. Again, it's not your problem really anymore. Now you're moved out, so thank goodness. But
yeah, they got to do real
I'm trying to help
mold
him out
remediation.
I'm trying to help him out.
I hope so. So if you're looking for a Bikini Bash next Friday, Twin Peaks.
Let's go. Let's have a remote. Let's just go on remote. Can they? Oh, it's not gonna be till the evening, I guess. Yeah, we'll have to.
That means that there's time, essentially.
That's right. I'll see you there, Drew.
This is the pros and cons of the stream. Someone's like, "Hey, wait, can I see the mold?" Because we live stream the show. Someone's like, "Hey, can you at least show the video stream since you're talking about something visual?" Here you go. Here's the mold in Drew's apartment.
Coming up next, we'll talk more about the Royals and their winning ways. And it's a different pitcher that is performing the way we thought one of the other members of the pitching staff would.
Hey, it's Brady Singer. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Welcome back. I'm here with Kansas City linebacker Nick Bolton. Nick, what do you look for in a car dealership?
Hands down, someone I can trust.
Then you'll want to come to Smithville Ford.
Didn't it used to be Dave Littleton Ford?
You're so smart, but it's under new management now. 3 times the inventory on new vehicles. And we've modernized and expanded the service department. We can service twice as many vehicles now. Nick, thanks for joining our team.
Be smart. Go to the new Smithfield Ford.
Hi, Kansas City. This is Kevin Harlan. I know being a champion means you're a leader in your field and you always rise above your competition. That's why when summer temperatures get extreme, our home has a Champion air conditioning system that keeps my family comfortable and cool. Get peak performance in your home by finding a local Champion dealer at championhomecomfort.com. Ask about our special financing options with rates as low as 0% and our factory-backed extended parts and labor warranty. Always leading, never compromising, championhomecomfort.com.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
We've all seen them. As soon as the big storm comes through, the storm-chasing roofers show up. Don't be a victim twice. Call locally owned, veteran-owned JR & Company. No one protects your home and you like JR.
JR's there for you. You're always better with a roof from JR.
In fact, JR & Company can let you know if you even need to be worried about storm damage. Online, visit jrhailcheck.com. Plug in your address and we'll pull a storm report. If there's nothing on the report, we'll give you hassle-free peace of mind. And if it looks like you got hit, we can come out and do a free inspection and help with any insurance claim. We'll never try to sell you a roof you don't need. But if you do need a new roof,
You're always better with a roof from JR.
go to jrhailcheck.com.
Hi, it's Trey Smith, and in order for our team to get a victory, we need honesty, teamwork, work ethic, humility, and the golden rule. That's why my truck is from the dealer that embodies all those values, Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram also supports Giving Hope, whose sole purpose is to feed and clothe the needy in Wyandotte County and beyond. Giving back in the highest integrity, that's how Jeff and his team do business. For your next vehicle, visit or go to victorychrysler-dodge-jeepram.com.
As a famous movie character once said, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
This is Eric Geschwin, Market President of Pinnacle Bank. The weather is warming up and 2024 is in full swing. If you need to reevaluate things in your family or business, let our team at Pinnacle Bank earn your trust and help you along in that process. Give us a call at 816-578-4334 or online at pinbank.com.
Pinnacle Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
Family Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data, and you get to choose who joins your family plan starting as low as $25 a line.
Does it have to be family?
It can be family or people you like.
Get more lines and more savings. Switch to Straight Talk for family plan starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, save $8 on a pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades in-store only. We'll even install them for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save, because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
At T-Mobile, you can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, switch and keep your phone. We'll pay it off up to $800.
Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit service and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
Don't miss your chance to spring into deals at Lowe's. Right now, get 2 1.5-gallon annual hanging baskets for $20. Plus, save $50 on the Cobalt 24-volt string trimmer and leaf blower combo kit. Now $149. Shop in-store and online today, because Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/15. Hanging basket offer in-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. While supplies last.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo, when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful VC turbo engine, well, we had time to see all the animals. Whoa! And outrun a few!
Drive the Nissan Rogue.
Brought to you by Express Employment Professionals.
If you're ready for a new job, let Express Employment Professionals help you. Express is your one connection for a summer job in a variety of industries. Job seekers never pay a fee at Express. Go to expresspros.com to find your location. That's expresspros.com.
They're also doing one of these, guys.
They're doing a car wash?
Oh,
you didn't even mention that.
True, you're going to be a busy man coming up, man. You got a lot of different...
After they see this, they're going to want them in every Twin Peaks in this city.
I think Drew might have just become the official Twin Peaks representative of our station now. Smashing success.
Honest to God, we do those social posts that are for, like, advertisement purposes, right? You're trying to get people out to Twin Peaks to check out the Bikini Bash or whatever. One of the most successful ones we've ever had, I would say, as far as watched.
Oh, no doubt.
Most watched.
And look, I don't know if it's been raining a little bit today, but when I pulled in the parking lot, Drew actually beat me to work today. And I saw, he's got his car parked all alone over in the parking lot. It looked a little dirty, man. It looks like it could use the car wash. You might want to take it in.
It's been that way since
I want
last
to take
weekend.
it in. Might want to take it in. Looks like maybe they'll give you a free wash.
Because of all the advertisement you did for them, Okay.
I have no comment.
So it says eats, drinks, scenic Drews.
Scenic Drews. He has to wear a crop top now.
That's actually the shirt you're gonna have. That's the shirt they'll give you when you start going to these more often.
Okay.
That way they know where to find you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. We'll
Probably easily identifiable.
We'll get to the random question of the day coming up in about 8 minutes or so. But let's get back to the Royals, who stay on this West Coast road trip. They're going to take on the Mariners tonight. It'll be Brady Singer on the bump, and Royals just a half game back in the AL Central. But the pitcher we're talking about is Seth Lugo, who is probably having the type of season that maybe you could have talked yourself into Cole Ragans having, based off of what Ragans did in the back half of last year. If I were to tell you there was going to be one pitcher that would lead the American League in ERA in the middle of May and be one of the top 5 pitchers in baseball,
wouldn't have assumed Lugo.
You would have said, it's got to be Cole Ragans. It's that Cole Ragans guy. Yeah. And Cole Ragans, look, he hasn't been as dominant, but I don't think people should be panicking. He just regressed a little bit naturally to the mean. But Seth Lugo is pitching as good as anybody in baseball, and he would be one of the 3 guys I think would be in the All-Star game right now if you had to go through the voting and saw how that would shape up.
I think Salvi and Bobby Wood Jr. would be obvious, and it'd be hard to leave out Seth Lugo as the best pitcher in the American League so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's pitching like we thought Ragans would. And even more extreme than that, honestly.
Look, we can get into Ragans in just a minute because I'll be honest with you, I am in no way concerned about Cole Ragans. Although I know some people are, that's fine. I'm just saying at the moment, I'm in no way concerned. But on Seth Lugo for a minute, yeah, this is way more dominant than I was planning on him being at any stage. And I think some of that came with what I would call reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt with Seth Lugo just based on what we normally say, which is sample size. Hey, I know he'd been a big leaguer for a long time, but yeah, at his age, for the amount that he had started, I didn't think he was going to be rolling into June with a 1.66 ERA, not middle of May, and a .96 whip. He's walking no one. He's letting up no home runs. He, for a while, was just pitching to defense, and now he's striking everybody out. So he's gotten better. That's what's the scary part about it is he was pitching well, and it felt like maybe a regression to the mean was coming because of the obvious. He wasn't striking out hitters. Eventually, balls in play will lead to runs. So instead of balls in play, he just started striking everyone out instead. He had 9 strikeouts to start or 2 ago. He had 12 last night. He has been unbelievably good. So much better than I was anticipating. And look, this goes back to the thing we mentioned maybe a week and a half ago. What the hell's Brian Sweeney done with this squad? At some point, this is why and you remember, because we were on the air together in this time, it makes me mad again, retroactively mad again, about how loud of a voice I think a lot of us were, myself included, on Cal Eldred ain't it. He's making everyone worse. The examples of, hey, if you're going to blame him for the 9 pitchers who are bad, you got to give him credit for the 1 who's good. Get the hell out of here. Like, it's a lot more fun to say, I got to give Brian Sweeney credit for the 9 that are good and the 1 that might be struggling, because that's what I'm actually getting out of Brian Sweeney. Going back to even what happened there. I mean, Seth Lugo was a good pitcher last year, really good pitcher for a Padres team. He's been unbelievable. This is the best he's ever been in his entire life. I'm guessing he didn't dominate this much in high school.
It's been remarkable, honestly, to see this somewhat transformation for Lugo. But you're right. I mean, the one question was going to be, how long can you continue to rely on your defense? The good news is the defense is one of the best in baseball. But then now he is actually going after hitters, and he's getting to swing and miss. That's why he's been able to elevate his game. And when you look at this rotation, it's why last Thursday or Friday, we said, hey, this is not a fluky rotation. Nope. Because they got multiple guys. Even when Ragans is slowly maybe regressing to the mean, doesn't mean he's being bad. He's we're about 2 outings away from Ragans having another dominant 6 1/3 and 9 strikeout performance. I'm not worried. But the point is, if it's not him right now, well, then Lugo's pitching better than we all thought even Ragans would this year.
And then Ragans is still pitching fine.
And the guy pitching tonight, Brady Singer, is having one of his better years.
Probably his best year, honestly.
And then even Alec Marsh, who's now back from injury. And he's your 5th starter, and you're totally fine with what you're getting from him. So you're in a great spot with this rotation. And Seth Lugo is going to continue to make some noise. I know someone pointed on the text line that because of his age and, you get deep into the nerdier analytics, some of those aren't as favorable. But at some point, man, I got to look at the basics. At some point, strikeouts, ERA, and innings pitched. Can we go to the most basic stuff? He's dominating in those particular areas right now.
And again, some of those advanced analytics that are going to tell you he can't hold up are not factoring in the fact that now he is striking people out. He wasn't before, but he is now. So, I get it. Before, I would have been in the same boat as you. I'd have said, hey, can those strikeouts continue? And I'd have said, probably not, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense that would be the case. But, that would be it. On the Cole Ragans end, by the way, because I think there are a lot of people that are like, oh, here we go. We're back to where we were. He is pitching fine. He just had 2 bad starts. I mean, I know that that's oversimplifying it. It's not. He, in every other start, except those 2, has been very, very, very good. Let me just give you some quick stat lines of where he was. I thought last night he got, or 2 nights ago, he got left in there just too long too. He shouldn't have. They made him wear it a little bit, right? He was going to lose the game, but they made him wear it for a couple of extra runs, and he doesn't care. The team won the next night. Bullpen's in better shape for this upcoming series against the Mariners. They had already kind of lost that game in the way it works. That's sometimes your life. In the 3 previous starts, he allowed 2 earned runs, 1 and 1, right? So he had a 2.06 ERA. He had that other bad start I just mentioned where he didn't start but 2 innings. Before that, 0-3, 0 and 2. He's got a 2 earned run average in 7 starts, and he's got a 22 earned run average in the other 2. The numbers are telling you a bit of a lie. He's fine.
Ragans still top 10 in strikeouts in baseball. Still has only given up 3 home runs, so it's not like suddenly that's becoming a problem. If you compare some of the other pitchers that even in the strikeout category that are towards the top of the league, they're also, there's a few of them that are top 5 in strikeouts. They've given up 7 or 8 home runs. Not the case here.
No.
Yeah, the ERA.
Still getting swing and miss, still getting strikeouts.
The ERA ballooned a little bit. It's still early enough in the year when you do have an outing like he just had. That is going to cause your ERA to shift. And that's what happened. It would not surprise me in one of the next 2 outings if we're talking about Cole Ragans having a 6 1/3, 7-inning type of outing, giving up 1 runner and another 8 strikeouts. That's coming. But Seth Lugo deserves every single bit of praise that he is getting right now. He has been flat out sensational. And, it goes back to the bigger conversation about J.J. Picollo and the moves that they've been able to make. I think Vern this morning said he thinks it's the 3rd best move that Picollo has made since he took over at general manager.
Behind what?
I don't have the cut. I apologize. Who the other?
Trading for Cole Ragans.
Cole Ragans was the other one.
Signing Bobby Witt long term.
Maybe that's probably what it was.
Trading for Cole Ragans for Aroldis Chapman's pretty good.
Cole Ragans was the other one. Yeah, Cole Ragans was the second one, but he thinks it's one of the it's the 3rd best move.
Seth Lugo might. I think he is. I was actually trying to go through it the other day, and I didn't want to quantify it because there's 50 years worth of history. He is one of the 3 best free agent signings in this franchise's history, especially if they go to the postseason. Because they will go to the postseason largely because of this signing. Not alone, but this signing will be a huge reason why they were able to even put together a staff capable of going to the postseason. David Cohn was once a free agent on this for the Royals after he had already been here. Pitched pretty well. So he would have been on the list of best free agent signings. And then you go back through Edinson Volquez, right? And some of these other guys who have really done a lot for the team when they needed it. It goes right at the top of the list. I will say this. Terrible news. He keeps pitching like this. He will not be picking up that player option.
Worry about that in 2 years. I'm like, worry about that.
He will not be picking that one up.
That's fine. That's fine. Worry about that later. No need to stress about
player options in 2026.
Yeah, a lot can happen. A lot can happen. I mean, it's still May of this year, but enjoy what he's doing, and it's been really, really fun to watch.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew, over in the text line, 913-586-7610. Of course, if you want, you can interact with the show on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. We're at 610 Sports KC on those as well. And yeah, the Bobby Witt Jr. extension's got to be somewhere on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we were talking about the EA thing, so I wanted to bring up this as well because it's big news, right? That the EA football game's coming back and everyone's going to be paid. Except for is Arch Manning signed up yet? Is he still holding out?
He is still
focusing on being a backup.
And by the way,
isn't there one NFL Marvin Harrison Jr., right? You can't play with him on Madden yet?
His jersey and the whole NFLPA.
There's no. He still seems like he's not going to sign that thing.
The question I have for you is, will you tolerate paying, let's say, $70 for a game? We don't get the Heisman edition. If they put in-game commercials. Because there's a report out there from Pop Crave and some others that are saying EA is tinkering with the idea of straight up adding ads to your gaming experience. And as somebody who used to play video games a decent amount, I would be furious. What am I giving you this money for if in addition to it, I have to watch a 30-second Gillette ad just because you're trying to squeeze a few more dollars out of me. The game is $70. I shouldn't have to watch an ad.
Yeah, the new generation consoles most of those games are all $70. It's crazy, but are we surprised? I mean, Netflix still, they have a version where you pay and it has ads in it. So why should we be
same with Prime?
Same
with pretty much everyone.
You pay
now.
more to get rid of ads. So unless it sucks, no doubt.
So I got to pay $100 for the version with no ads.
Probably where we're headed.
The only
video games. I thought that was like kind of a safe. I already give you the money.
I'll be honest.
You get the money from me.
The only way that I think they can salvage this and make it for me to buy and be like, you know what, I'm actually okay with it, is if they somehow put in the game
for Twin Peaks, have ads for Twin Peaks in there, scenic views with Drew in them.
I was not going with that. If I'm in the game, if I'm in the game, that's fantastic.
I don't know how you're going to end up in that, but good luck.
If they find a way to, for whatever reason, put like in between quarters, they program it in, or at halftime they program it in, or
like I got to watch. I'm playing a basketball game and I got to watch the under 12.
Yes.
To hell with that. I don't like it in the real game.
Or it doesn't even have to be. It doesn't have to be a real 30-second commercial like in the old college football game. They used to do like in studio updates where they would give brief score rundowns.
I did like those.
If they include commercials, quote unquote, in that, and Reese Davis is like, hey, this in-game update is brought to you by blank, and it actually is a real thing, I am fine with that because it adds to the realism of what you watch on TV. But yes, it is a very fine line.
They've already put in some aspects of ads in video games. It's not whether it's product placement.
It's like live reads while you're still
Sponsorship,
playing the game.
yes.
But the second they pause my Madden game and I have to watch 30-second ads to continue my game, that's nuts. I'm sorry, that's just nuts. I don't care. Like, if you want to do it in every other way, right? You want to say, hey, by the way, we're creating this, we're creating an NFL game, and I'm not going to put, or we're creating a baseball game. I'm not going to put that Quick Trip patch unless you also pay for the Quick Trip patch. We're paying Major League Baseball for the rights. We're not paying to put your, now, Major League Baseball probably argues for their partners to have it on there. But if it's not, fine. You want to squeeze them to put the QT patch on MLB The Show? So be it.
It is, yeah.
But it's just like, don't squeeze me into regular commercial work just because you're looking for one extra way to get it out of
I just think it's where it's trending. It sucks, like a lot of things. I mean, I think it's where it's trending, and I think we've already seen there. Have the scoreboard. The scoreboard itself is sponsored by State Farm, let's say, or whatever. That's different. That's already been in there. But yet, having to wait 30 seconds to continue my franchise
BS
mode,
to me.
that's nuts.
I'm going to lose it at that.
Nobody wants to open up the main menu and then go to open up your dynasty and have, hang on a minute, here's a 15-second ad real quick.
Is that the new loading
BS.
screen? Back in the day, it did actually take a while to load parts of the game.
Yeah,
that's the new version of that. It's just going to be an ad that plays instead of the load screen
that
menu.
would get old so quickly because if you think
I get
about
tired
it,
of the songs that get played over and over again.
The ads that we don't like on TV, if you're playing and you're going from mode to mode, you're going in between in a game and out of a game, you might be in and out within a span of 30 minutes seeing the same ad played 3 different times.
But where they're making a ton of their money, as you know, like now with a lot of these games, is the additional in-game content. So there's the ads on top of whatever. But then now this is people have the choice to buy it. But so much money they're making now off of like these Madden Ultimate teams. People are buying digital packs of cards on Madden so they can get someone for their
sale or
ultimate
something?
team.
I don't really know how that works.
Some of the people that have like loaded teams, they can sell it on. Yes, that does happen. But like that's where they're making a ton of their money now too. And people are spending hundreds of dollars on this, like, what's the in-game premium content?
Yeah, the in-game, it's like DLC content, you downloaded content you can get post-release, if you will. Like if say KU comes out with brand new uniforms and they weren't in the game originally, you might be able to get those jerseys in the game, but you have to pay $4.99 to get those.
Dude, microtransaction stuff. Because, my daughter plays Roblox or whatever. It's the same thing. And I just stopped, she's got like a $5 gift card for her birthday from somebody or like a $10 gift card. They burned through it so fast. I'm like, no chance. You're just so wasteful in here. At least wait for something you really want on a game you really play. Just burning through your cash. and it's real money. I know you don't see it that way because you're a kid, but I do not think so. The other part about that was interesting from this morning, by the way, because that came out over the weekend, and then this morning, all the batter data came out across baseball. So now everybody knows how hard you swing, or how often you make barrel contact, or a million other. All the batting stats, the same as we've been getting break points of pitches and all this stuff for years. Now they're going to have it for hitters, and it all got released last night and this morning. So everyone's trying to diagnose what it means analytically. I'll tell you, separate from all of that, because I'm not going to pay attention to batter data yet. Although I have accepted pitching data is like how much break a pitch have and exit velocity. There are certain things that have been kind of rolled in.
There's a place for it, but I don't want to hear on the broadcast in 2 months, but he swings his bat really fast. I don't give a damn.
Unless he hit it really hard, I don't. Look, they probably will say this. He swung that 2 miles per hour faster than he normally does on average, and that ball traveled X number of feet. That stuff's already getting rolled in. The thing I like about it is it just means we're one step closer to digital balls and strikes. Let's just face the reality here. The more and more that a sport embraces technology, Gold, the closer we are to balls and strikes done by a robot.
They got to give
not an actual robot as a pitcher like a couple weeks ago. I think I honestly thought maybe it was a robot.
So you're saying
digital balls and strikes.
They've got to give a middle finger to the umpires union first, though, and get them to play along because they'll still exist. But
let's give them a middle finger. Who cares?
They need to do that, and that's the one holdup. I think. Other than that, we need to have the robot umps, which like you said, it's basically just a radar ump is really what it is.
Do you see? I mean, we all watch the same games. And look, kudos to your accuracy point. You're watching a 93 mile per hour slider from 60 feet to 6 inches. I don't know how you do it, okay? I don't even know how you're close most of the time. Kudos to you. Honestly, I give you a lot of credit. I'd get a lot less than 92% right, which is, by the way, a bad rate. 92% is considered a bad rate for balls and strikes in baseball. But if we can just get 100%, why the hell wouldn't we want it? I don't understand. And some of the calls, like a call on Saturday, hurt the Royals. It can hurt them in a game where you're like, well, that changed the complexion of the entire inning. A guy was standing on a base, a guy was getting ready to walk, and instead it was a strike, and then he flew out, and now it's a runner on first with 2 outs instead of 2 on with 1 out. It can change the entire complexity of an inning, especially late in a game. Yeah. The fact that this is coming, all this batter data and stuff, that just means they're dialing in all their electronics. They're closer and closer to just giving us the electronic version.
Do the robot umpires or the digital balls and strikes, is that system including the challenge system that's currently in the minors, or are those two things separate?
I imagine when they do a digital ball and strike, they'll have it. I don't know.
Because I wonder if
they can be separate.
It would prolong the game if you gave every batter one challenge. But I think in fairness, you give each batter it's not a manager decision. Q is not going to be the one making a decision hey, I'm challenging whether that was a ball or strike or not. It's Bobby at the plate saying that is not a strike. I'm challenging, raise the hand real quick, and it takes literally 10 seconds.
What I don't understand, and maybe that's the way to appease the umpires, why are we making it a challenge system if it can just have 100% accuracy? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, correct. Well,
we don't need a challenge system. It was either a strike or it wasn't. They're doing it in real time.
So they are separate then from each other.
They're doing it in real time right now. Look, the umpire doesn't want to lose a job behind the plate. But here's why they never will, by the way. Technology goes out for a day. And if technology goes out for a day, you can't have a 3-hour baseball delay because the tracking system isn't working. No, guy behind the plate's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Balls and strikes time. And there's still calls at the plate. There's managing a game. They're not getting rid of an umpire. Umpires just don't like it when you make them look stupid. They're the biggest babies in all of sports.
It's just a power trip.
Thing, yeah.
I mean,
I'm in charge.
That's all. I mean, we've seen that time and time again with these interactions the manager and umpire will have.
Look at the Yankee situation earlier. He got tossed from a game. He didn't even say anything.
With Aaron Boone, the ump basically admitted, he said, when Aaron Boone said, hey, that wasn't me that said that, and the ump goes, I don't care. Basically, he's like, I'm going to do this because I want to do it. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's ridiculous. I think we're very close to getting the robot umps, or basically in radar strike zone is kind of what I call, because you say robot umps and people sometimes do actually think there won't be any umpires.
Was it Scherzer? Who was it like a week ago when they were describing it? They were talking about the pros and the cons of it, or the atmosphere or whatever. And I really was convinced that the way they were talking about it, they thought it was just R2-D2 was going to be back there beeping and booping for different strikes and balls. I'm like, that's not what they're going to do.
100-mile-per-hour fastball hits the robot and breaks it in half.
Oh, here it was. It was Max Scherzer who was talking about it.
I don't know. I'm not really a fan. I want a human back there judging the calls. I want that's just. It seems too weird to have a robot calling the game.
It's not a robot, Max.
It's radar. It's basically radar technology. It's
fed to the umpire.
If you watch tennis and you're watching Wimbledon, there's still an official or whatever but they have the technology to tell if the shadow of the ball is in or out or whatever. Mm-hmm. That great ball. There's actually a name, Sky Tracker or something. Whatever they use.
Same thing as Hawkeye for the tennis.
That's what I mean. Sorry, that's what the name I was looking for. Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and they still have a human there officiating the tennis match.
He still sits up in the big tall chair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not that crazy. I used to think, and I'll say this is where I've altered too. I was a little bit worried about, because the one thing I was worried about the pitch clock is baseball does live in, the moments, right? Like, the anticipation is a part of the sport versus any other sport. The idea that the guy is taking a breath, lowering his hands, and you don't know what's getting ready to happen on this very next pitch. Part of the anticipation is big in it. You still get it. It's just faster. I don't have to anticipate for 30 seconds. I only have to do it for 20. And none of us even pay attention. They give the little violation. Guy gets a ball thrown his way, or batter gets a strike called his way, and we all just move on.
I feel like
nobody pays attention.
I feel like a lot of that stuff, for instance, in golf means a little bit more, I think, when you're looking at clubhead speed, ball speed. A lot of it is actually into how the dynamics of the game go. But I feel like we're getting fed so much information from the baseball standpoint, from the golf standpoint, from football. Like, hey, the average, the percent that this ball is actually caught by OBJ is 2% or whatever, and he's still the analytical side is cool, but it's not anything that I don't think we should get too fired up about.
There's a balance. Like, baseball probably is the tougher sport for because it's viewed as America's pastime, and there's a lot, it's more of the old school mindset probably than any other sport going right now still. We've looked at the demographics of baseball, and, the audience is still skewing older than younger. Like, I would, people are against this. I would be fine with us finding a way using technology to know when the base has actually been pressed by the runner. So we don't even have to waste our time. Like, somehow, I don't know, if it lights up, it does something. People would hate that, I understand. But, if you could just tell me, it just lights up green, we know that the runner actually touched it before the...
And then we can...
whatever. Can we not have pressurized sensors inside of the base pass?
NFL fought for a while with, cameras in the pylons. You're like, that seems like a pretty important area. Are you sure that's not where you want a camera? It should have, you're right, like a trigger warning thing, like a
there's pressure.
Tripwire.
Something. Yeah. I don't know how the technology. I'm not smart enough to figure out the technology. Somebody's smart enough out there to come up with technology inside the base path that knows when the runner has actually touched the bat. And you're like, well, how do you tell if it's the runner or the? I don't know. Someone smarter than me can figure out how we can do this.
We've microchipped football players to no end. We would it's like an RFID tag. I have a unique identifier of me touching it. It's in my cleat or whatever nonsense. I'm sure it's
Speaking of RFID, we're late for break. I was going to tell you, just when you said RFID, it reminded me. Somebody was stealing big-time chips at casinos or whatever, and they didn't realize that the bigger chips at larger
they have RFID?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We can talk about that.
They found them out pretty quick. That happened. All right, anyway, up next, who could actually prove he is due for a big-time payday in Kansas City soon, and what we should be doing now with this Royals team.
Cody and Gold.
If the Royals win the World Series, I will get, and you can mark it if you want, but
everybody knows
this tattooed on my body.
Who gives? We're winning games.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
And join the thousands that decided to fix their vision with the best in Kansas City. For the last 40 years, that place has been Dury Vision. 913-491-3330. That's the phone number I continue to tell you about because it's that simple. You make that phone call, and that's how you schedule a free consultation, and that's how you can be on your way to seeing better than you ever have, and perhaps without contacts or glasses. I don't use contacts. I don't use glasses anymore ever since I called up Dury Vision, found out I was a candidate for LASIK, and now it's so amazing to just wake up every morning and not need to reach over to the nightstand and grab glasses and, occasionally I've knocked over a glass of water doing that. Don't have to worry about that anymore because I can simply see when I wake up. And you can also find a convenient and budget-friendly way to take care of the procedure at Dury as well, as they offer 0% financing. So you can see clearly now and pay later. No money down, 0% interest deferred financing over 24 months. DuryVision.com or give them a call at 913-491-3330.
96 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of Kansas City has been repairing and replacing garage doors. They are the only authorized dealer of overhead door brand products in Kansas City. Locally owned and operated since 1927, headquartered in Olathe. Always look for the iconic red ribbon to be sure you're dealing with the genuine, original Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. For same-day repair service 24/7, call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City or schedule online at ohdkc.com. ohdkc.com.
Spring is in the air, and that means one thing. Dandelions are coming. Don't let those annoying yellow weeds invade your lawn again. This year, trust your lawn to Ryan Lawn & Tree. This is Larry Ryan. No other lawn care company delivers the results that Ryan Lawn & Tree delivers. More than just providing a beautiful dandelion-free lawn. Your trusted pros in the clean red trucks make sure your entire landscape is healthy, strong, and ready to look great no matter what nature throws at it. And unlike the other guys, the pros at Ryan Lawn & Tree are employee owners, full-time professionals going above and beyond every day with 5-star customer service. Call us or click ryanlawn.com today. And as a new customer, you'll save 50% on your first lawn application. Enjoy a worry-free, effort-free, dandelion-free lawn this year with Ryan Lawn & Tree.
This is the absolute worst time of year to have to be dealing with joint pain. You can't do all those outdoor activities you love to do. Hey, it's Bob Fesco. Don't go through the summer missing out on life. Call QC Kinetics now and find out how they can use biologics from your own body to give new life to your achy joints. QC's regenerative medicine protocols can restore and repair that damaged tissue with no surgery, no steroids, no drugs, and no downtime. This is the future of medicine. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients around the country are living their best life this year because they made the call. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Revolutionary treatments for joint pain are here. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 and State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included with the activation of a Silver Unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Requires in-store activation. Device offer ends 6/9/24. Taxes and fees apply.
Tyler from Wendy's here. The best part of Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is every part. Unlike mornings, which have no good parts, until now. Because with Wendy's new breakfast Cinnabon Pull-Apart, mornings finally don't completely suck. And now that mornings have warm cinnamon sugar rolled dough and ooey gooey frosting, are they the best part of every day? Probably not, but you get the idea. Get to Wendy's today and get the best part in every bite with the new Cinnabon Pull-Apart.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Cinnabon is a registered trademark of Cinnabon Franchisor SPV, LLC.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Some say Memorial Day is the unofficial start of summer, but I say this is. Lighting up Kingsford Original Charcoal on the grill with family and friends is a summer ritual, and there's no better time than Memorial Day weekend. Whether it's burgers, veggies, or some chicken drumsticks, Kingsford Original gives you that authentic wood-fired barbecue flavor that means summer is finally here. So good. Kingsford Original Charcoal, America's grilling expert. Kingsford.com.
Don Sharp and the Sharp Homes team sell well over 100 homes per year in Kansas City. And that's why if I needed to sell my home, Don Sharp would be the only agent I would trust. Dawn and her team are selling homes for top dollar all over the metro. If you used another agent and aren't seeing the results, let Dawn and her team take over. The Sharp Homes team spends thousands of marketing dollars each month to attract more buyers, which increases demand and sells homes faster for the most money possible. Check them out at homesforsaleInKC.com or just Google Sharp Homes Team.
96 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of Kansas City has been repairing and replacing garage doors. They are the only authorized dealer of Overhead Door brand products in Kansas City. Locally owned and operated since 1927, headquartered in Olathe. Always look for the iconic red ribbon to be sure you're dealing with the genuine, original Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. For same-day repair service 24/7, call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City or schedule online at OHDKC.com. OHDKC.com.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Kansas City, this is Royals manager Matt Quattrero. Catch Vern's On Deck show 1 hour before first pitch on your home for Royals baseball, 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, and Odyssey Sports Station.
2, 3, 4, tell the people what she wore.
It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini.
1 o'clock hour.
This song, coupled with those comments, it makes me kind of uncomfortable. I don't know what it is. I don't like it.
Hey, we found it. This is the song you can use for your next one. You know, same beat.
I don't think so.
I'll get to that. If you missed it earlier, I requested Cody do something later on this week,
I was
but
surprised.
It has to be this week, and it has to be.
You're not accepting any time on this.
Yeah, it has to be this week. We'll explain that again coming up in just a little bit. You can interact with us again on the J Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7610. We continue to tell you about what we got going on a week from tomorrow night. A week from tomorrow night. That'll be May 21st. We'll be out at Kauffman Stadium sitting in section 151. That's one of the sections right above the Royals bullpen. You can also get tickets in the sections right around there, 150, 151, 152. And we've got our MacArthur's 9th Infantry ready to roll. MacArthur got a save yesterday. He's got a save in back-to-back outings. We'll be ready. We got our MacArthur shirts. We've got our Green Army caps. Somebody asked earlier about the T-shirts. Can they just get the shirts on their own? You can. Ragans got the shirts. But if you're one of the first 40 listeners that buys tickets and meets us in the parking lot, we'll have more details on that. Next Tuesday night, hope to see you out at Kauffman Stadium as the Royals take on the Tigers. It's also Dollar Dog Night. Even better. So we talked about how many hot dogs can we eat?
Yeah, with the 999 challenge. I was also like, I was at a tailgate. I'm like, it's kind of lame to invite people to a part of the parking lot and not even like have a hot dog.
We'll go buy a dollar dog.
But then they get a dollar dog inside there. So I'm just going to put a cooler with some drinks in it for myself and for you and Drew.
That works.
And we'll just, it'll be like a secondary Club 610 ahead of the thing. I was like, I don't put a grill together for that. That feels crazy. I have heard from multiple people who've said they bought seats in that section for our MacArthur night. So this morning, like late last week, it did look like there were like no seats left in our section. This morning, it looked like there are a few. So yeah, like depending on where you want to be, 151, 152, 150, like we're in that section. We're in 151. It looks like maybe there's still a few seats right behind us if you want to come join us there. But if anywhere near that section, we're in the 200. If you can prove to us that you're sitting in that section, I got a shirt and a hat for you up until I run out at 40. That's what I've got.
Hope to see you guys out there next Tuesday at Kauffman Stadium. We'll talk some more Royals here in just a couple of minutes. But George Karlaftis is a name that when Chris Jones was still dealing with the contract negotiation months back, we're like, man, he's got an opportunity to go and take a massive leap. And could he prove that he's on the same path as Max Crosby and all that? The good news for him is Chris Jones is still here. Chris Jones is getting some double teams. It sets up very nicely again for Karlaftis, who took a huge leap forward anyway. From 6 sacks to 10.5 last year. I think it's unfair to expect that he's having another 2 or 3 sack increase, because all of a sudden if he does that, then he's one of the top 10 sack guys in football.
Yeah, yes. If you get to 14.5 sacks, then you're one of like the 5 best sack guys in the league last year. You're not TJ Watt, but you're Micah Parsons. You're like in that range. You're one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. But I also don't want to rule that out for him. His cap right now is pretty high because he went from 6.5 sacks his rookie year to 10.5 sacks. He took a big leap. But if he's going to get paid here, because they're already paying Chris Jones and because they're going to pay Trent McDuffie, there's some players we just know they're going to pay over Karlaftis. He needs to get 10 sacks again. He's got to prove it. If he drops back down to that 6-7 sack guy, which, by the way, those types of fluctuations with sack numbers happen all the time, it's going to be harder to convince yourself that he's a good pass rusher, but Chris Jones is the great pass rusher, and we want to be paying great pass rushers in this town, not good ones. Guys like that sometimes get a second contract with their team. Other times get one contract or get a tag or, they move around a little bit. They're 10-year pros. They have a great NFL career. But I think Karlaftis needs to prove another 10 sacks season, just 10 sacks to me. Proves that it's not just Chris Jones. I don't think you'd throw up 26 sacks in your first 3 seasons because Chris Jones is next to you. You're doing some work yourself there. You're doing some heavy lifting.
So, I would sign up still right now if you gave me the option, hey, he's going to have a 9-sack season. I would lock that in right now. If you told me Karlaftis went from 10.5 back down to 9 after having 6 his rookie year with this defense, I think you would sign up for that. I would at least. Maybe you roll the dice and you think there's a couple more sacks on top of the 10.5 and he's going to keep going. But I think if you could tell me he's a sack and a half less than last year, so he ends up with 9, I would still sign up for that based off what I think they kind of need to have. I know it's not all about sacks, but if you think they're going to be wherever defensively, there's a good chance there's a certain sack threshold they're going to need to get to.
Yeah.
And I think you could still be okay with Karlaftis getting 9. Now, maybe you think Chris Jones is taking a step back. I tend to believe he's still a
He
year.
fluctuates too. Another example of fluctuating sack numbers.
I still think Chris Jones is a year away before age maybe starts to really catch up. I think you still have another good year of really, really strong Chris Jones. And I don't buy the not motivated stuff. I think when you're going for a three-peat, yeah, you got paid, but you're going for a three-peat and you're talking about your own legacy. You already have 3 rings in your back pocket.
Trying to be a Hall of Famer.
If you have another double-digit sack season or 2 and you play 3 or 4 more years, you're going to the Hall of Fame.
The other part about where Chris Jones is now, right, he had a 10.5 sack season. It was only his 3rd sack over double-digit sacks in his career, Chris Jones. Even though he's been in the league quite a bit longer than that. He's less likely to get double digits than he is likely to get them. The difference is the sack numbers on their own are not the only thing I judge Chris Jones on anymore. I can physically see how disruptive he is. It's obvious. It's painfully obvious because of the top part of the field he plays in. With Karlaftis, because we don't pay quite as much attention to him doing that because we're paying attention to Chris Jones, it's hard to quantify what are his valuables outside of the sack numbers. And I'm not saying he doesn't have any. He obviously does. He's a very good player. But, to what degree? I'm just saying if he wants to get a check here one day, he has to continue this level of play. That's all. If he goes back down to a 7-sack guy and he just kind of fluctuates between the two, I'd say it's a 50-50 shot. He might still get a check here, might still get a contract here, but he becomes the player, just like we talk about with quarterbacks or corners or wide receiver or anything else, where you're like, you got to sit in an office for a while and debate whether or not you can get better play for the same amount of money. Like, hey, if we spend the same amount of money, how close can we get to replacing Karlaftis? Because we're going to be paying open market prices.
A lot of this is not only his own performance, but it's predicated on what is Chris Jones playing level at 2 years from now? Does Felix develop into anything? This is a huge year for him. We've talked plenty about that. Do you continue to get really strong play from Mike Dana? He signed a 3-year contract, I believe it was.
Yeah. So he's just Mr. Consistent. I'm just getting 4 to 7 sacks. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So you kind of know where you're at. So it's hard to say definitively he has. What does Karlaftis have to do to eventually one day get an extension here? There's so many.
If Felix exploded too, that would also hurt it. Like if Felix had 11 sacks this year, maybe they don't need to spend the money on Karlaftis.
That would be something. What kind of?
Hey, I just gave you an optimistic.
That's the first time I've heard it around Felix.
Look, I think K-State fans kind of hate me because of this, because he's their guy. It's not.
That's a massive year for him.
I'm not a believer, but it doesn't mean I hope he proves me wrong.
Right.
That's always the thing to keep in mind. I actively hope he makes me look stupid. It's better. It's better for the show, but it's also just better for the team. I hope he has 11 sacks.
I'm fascinated to see what he can do. I'm definitely still optimistic. Not that I think he's going to be a 10-sack guy, but that it's I think it's too early to say we know what he is. And because of his age, developmental guy, still one of the younger players in the league and on the roster. But I think we all can admit this is a huge year for him. You can't go through an entire season and not be able to get on the field. I think last year made a ton of sense because he was a rookie and because you did have all these pieces above you that were better players on the depth chart. This year, you would like to think you've closed the gap a little bit. And we're going to find out. At training camp, it will be one of the bigger stories. And if we're sitting here halfway through the season again and he's barely getting on the field, unless you tell me Mike Dana's just tearing it up, which is definitely a possibility, then it'll be an even realer conversation to have about where FAU is as a pro.
If you're curious what a year from now it will cost the Chiefs to retain Trip McDuffie, Adam Schefter just tweeting out Antoine Winfield Jr. is now the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. He got a 4-year, $84.1 million deal from the Bucs, $45 million of which is guaranteed.
Big time. Big time.
That's a lot for a safety.
Yes. Yes, it is. I don't know if he paid yeah.
He plays safety. He's the highest paid defensive back in NFL history, but that's
a safety, not a corner. Yeah.
Can I not? Simmons, isn't he still out there? Paying $84 million?
Yeah. Did Justin Simmons ever?
Did he ever sign?
I actually don't remember. He might have.
I don't think he has yet.
He is.
Is there something wrong with him?
Free agent. Yeah.
The hell happened there? Widely considered one of the better safeties in the NFL. Why the hell doesn't he have a contract yet?
Everybody talked him up big time. It is kind of bizarre. What else is going on? That does seem that's more than just the market is the market.
He 2 years ago got a 4-year, $61 million deal. That's why I'm asking.
He's 30. Do people think that he? Is there something up with his medicals? I don't know. That's unfair, but that's speculation. But I don't know. It is bizarre.
You said he's 30.
Yeah.
Justin Simmons.
So he'd be 34 when he ended. I mean, I don't know
30-year-old safety's been paid. I mean, I don't think he's getting 4 years.
But don't we sign him to a 1-year deal right now, unless he's trying to, mentally understand that this is the different part of his career now, and maybe he's not willing to take a 1-year deal because he still thinks he's better than that. And that's his right, obviously. But, yeah, it is bizarre. He'll get signed during camp or before camp, but that's weird.
Very weird. But either way, I mean, I don't know what we got on Justin Simmons. I'm just pointing out Winfield's deal. But, yeah, sure. It doesn't make any sense to me. I was just curious because I was like, sometimes if I think I can get – this goes back to the same thing. For most positions, not quarterback, but for most positions, if I can get 85% of the production for like 50% of the price, like if I can get – let's say Justin Simmons is 85% of Winfield, but I can get it for 50% of the price, I'm not so sure I wouldn't just spend the 50%. Like, I love our guy, love to take care of our guys in-house, but there's a price point in which, I could spend that money across multiple platforms in a lot of different ways. The one thing that hurts you is eventually you need players in your building to think that you will take care of them. The Royals have done the Chiefs have done a better job of that here lately of we will take care of our guys. But you have to do some of that. Not every time, but you have to take care of some of your guys. It's a little bit different.
I mean, it's props to them, too, for them being able to draft so well that they're in a position where they don't feel like they have to go and overpay just to get somebody in the building who was a vet in another place.
Coming up in 5 minutes, my request toward Cody, something that I would like to see happen this week.
I'm still thinking about it.
We'll see if he's changed his mind or if he's got an answer for me yet or whatever. Let's talk some Royals, though, a little bit because the team is a half game out right now of the AL Central. They had a chance over the weekend. They still won 3 of 4, so nobody's complaining. They had a chance to sweep the Angels, which would have put them in first place in the AL Central.
They were briefly tied for first place before that Saturday game.
Yeah, and would have put them 10 games above 500. Now, look, they still sit 8 games above. They're still out west. They're taking on the Mariners. You think the answer is now. What point do you have, not different expectations, like clearly all our expectations have shifted, but to the point
if I made you choose a new win total, you'd choose it.
Sure, but to the point where now you would almost be angry or overly critical of them not making the postseason. I think it's too early to be like, failure, didn't make the postseason. As great as things are, that to me is a bit unfair. You're already there, it sounds like.
I'm pretty much there. Like, look, things could change and maybe an injury, right, could shift the logic behind that. But presuming health, and I can for the moment because they are healthy, presuming health, look at their history. And look, they got a history of a lot of losing. But anytime this team has had this good of a record, 42 games into the season, they win 90 games. Matter of fact, only one time did they win less than 90 games in every single season in which they started this well, 42 games into the season. To me, it's the component of the things. And the reason why I would call it now a disappointing season in my mind if they don't at least make a wild card. I think 3 teams are eliminated in the American League, which means there are 7 playoff spots available for 12 teams. You only have to beat out 5 teams the rest of the way, all 5 of which, of course, you're already above in the standings, in order to make a postseason. I'm not saying win the division yet, but I mean, they have the number 1 player in baseball. Like, based on WAR, by the way, they have the best player in baseball through 42 games. No one has played better. They have the number 1 starter in the American League right now in Seth Lugo. They have quality, good young players to go with veterans. They've got Michael Garcia and Vinny Pasquantino, and then the veterans like Salvador Perez. They can pitch, they can play defense, and they can hit enough. I don't know why I shouldn't be putting the pressure on them to be good enough to be – they should be a postseason team now. If I'd known what I know before this season, I would have said this needs to be a postseason season. And now I really feel that way.
So, look, I think there's a very good chance that they actually are going to end up making the postseason. I just don't know on May 13th if I can get to the point where I'm like, failure of a year, they didn't make it, Sure. Disappointed, of course. I think we've all bought in enough where,
that's like the stage before.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, based on how things are going and what I think they'll be, of course I'm going to be disappointed already now if they don't. I just don't know. Knowing where this organization sits still in the process.
You would say next year, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's the step of, look, I would love for them to be in the postseason this year, and I think they have a decent chance to do that. But if it's September and they finish with 83 wins, which right now seems disappointing, but in the grand scheme of things, going from 56 to 83, okay?
It's a nice net win total.
Then next year, next year, then like the real expectation and like, hey, it's time to get back to the playoffs. That to me is where I'm at. Now, if it's July, Cody, and this team is 8 games above 500 still, then there's the point where it shifts. But I don't know if you can shift expectation. I don't know if it's fair to shift is it a successful season or not?
You'd like to see around the All-Star break. Does that sound right?
I don't know if that's fair. Now, look, where some of the odds sit as of today, they're plus basically 2-1 to make the playoffs. I mean, it's not a bad spot.
They're still on pace for 97 wins.
2-1 to make the playoffs, 5-1 to win the AL Central, minus 168 to win 80 or more. So 500 baseball.
So they think they're a heavy favorite
to finish above 500.
To finish above 500.
And then plus 460, so just under 5-1 to win 90 or more. And you win 90 or more, they're winning the AL Central, I would think.
I would think so too. I still don't think the Guardians and Twins could keep it up forever. By the way, they play each other this weekend. We're going to talk about that later in the week. It's who's supposed to be rooting for here? Or do we just root for like a 2-1 thing? Both take on some water, but someone's got to win 2
Everybody
games.
can be disappointed, depending on how the season ends. I just don't think, we should be sitting here and saying, man,
and demanding playoff
how
performance?
could they not make it? You guys were supposed to go from 56 to 90. Come on. We 56.
I don't disagree, but this is so dramatically. You're not I understand it's a leap. I get that. Think about the thing from last year to this year though that gets me hung up for why I'm willing to come on, make the postseason. This team's too good. Don't miss the postseason with this team. It's too good. Do you remember the conversation we had on opening day? Do you realize how few members of this team were on the team? This ain't the same team. It's not even close, as a matter of fact. Like 7 people who were on last year's opening day roster that are on this team. It's like 20%. The other 80% of the team wasn't even on this team for a good chunk of last year. Ragans, Lugo, Walker, and half the position players. It's
that's why
the bullpen.
But that's why our win. I think this show was more aggressive with our win totals than some others. We were
on the
76, 77,
70s,
78, and obviously now if we could redo it, I think we all would have them above 80. I just told you the odds as well. What
would your guess be? How many wins do you think the Royals finish with right now?
85. Which still is not maybe good enough. Still maybe not good enough to make the playoffs. But that's what I'm saying. If they finish with 85, you're going to sit here and tell me that it was a failure of a season? Come on.
Would 85 have gotten you in the playoffs last year?
I don't know about last year. Right now, the way the AL Central is trending, I don't know if that's good enough to win it. Last year, I think you had to get to 86 to win the Central, didn't you? Who won the AL? Or what was the record?
Yeah, you would have needed 85 wouldn't have won you the Central. I guess the question.
Go ahead, sorry.
The question I had is whether or not that would have gotten you in the postseason.
The Twins won 87, and in second place was 78. It sure looks like you're going to have to do better than 78 to get that wild card last year.
Last year, you would have been in. Yeah. Oh, no. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, you'd have missed. 85 would have missed the playoffs by.
Look, and that'll hurt. That'd be painful. That'd be disappointing.
85 would have missed the playoffs by 2 games.
Look, I'm not.
Twins would have been the team that stopped you from getting in. Same. Both.
Yeah.
Lowest number and division.
If the Royals miss it by a game or 2, no, it's going to be painful. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. But then you step back and you would realize that they went from 56 to 85 wins. And that's where I think just the difference. Look, I'm not good at math.
Increasing a win total by 30 wins is pretty significant.
We know that on this show, not a big fan of math. Don't claim that that's a strong suit. I think I am correct in calling out this text, though. I don't believe this is how pacing stats and numbers work. Someone says they're on pace for 32 games above 500. No, they're not. No, they're not.
113
they're
wins?
They're going to have one of the most successful wins in the.
Actually, that might be right.
32? I thought they were on 97.
Well, think about that. 90 and 60. That's 30 games above. If you think about just the totals of the wins, 90 and 97 and 60. It's probably close.
It's close. 32 though. So are we?
They're on pace for 96 or 97 wins. So
has it bumped up that high?
97 minus 162 is 65.
Games above.
Hold on. This person said 32 games above 500.
Yeah.
That's 113, correct? Because if you're 81 and 81, 162, that's 113 wins. Is that?
That's 32 games. He's not wrong. That is 32 games above 500. They would be 97 and 65. That's 32 games above 500. They are on pace for that. Shockingly enough, that's the Royals' current pace. I know we're used to counting it the other way, where they're on pace to be 25 games under, 30 games under 500. But yeah, that's for a 162 game season, 32.
I think Drew was thinking of as 80 and 80, 80,
I was
82
thinking-
and 80 is
That was what
2
I was
games
thinking.
above. 90, he's thinking that 90 is only 10 games above
But it's not.
500.
97
I know,
and
I'm just-
65 is
that's
32.
That was why I said 113.
That's where we got
As I was like, there, really?
I didn't realize it got up to 32, though. I thought they were still only pacing for like 24 games above 500.
No, 96 or 97 wins. Between, right? It's 96 and a half wins. It just depends on which way you want to round.
Yeah, now I'm just confusing myself, too, by the way. Because someone on the text line is also going with what Drew and I were going with.
Which one?
If you say they're 500, it's 81 and 81.
81 and 81 is a 500 season.
Correct.
If they're pacing 32
80
games above, that's 113 wins.
No, that's not.
that's what,
Okay, this is why I'm the math person.
yes, it is.
Yes, if you just add 30 to it, yes. But are you forgetting to subtract from the loss total?
Look, Drew.
That's not how it works. If you win 30 more games,
If
you
you win-
also lose less. The numbers come on both sides.
Correct. So, for example, last year, the Orioles were 101 and 61. So
They were 40 games above 500.
Not just 21 games above 500.
That's not how people talk. I mean, or at least that's not how they talk about it in sports. Does that make sense? Because for every game you win, it's worth 2 games above 500. If
Yeah,
you're
see,
81 and
I did not
81, you're
know that.
500. If you're 82 and 80, you are,
Apparently, I've been doing
This is
math
why we
wrong
don't-
for a very long time.
I prefaced.
Someone says Drew is right. Not in the way they talk about it from a sports perspective.
I prefaced bringing up the text for a reason. Do you guys recall what we said? Said
You
math,
said math is not my thing.
and I said let's not bring it. And then and I was like, are they really at 30?
I went and just doubled down.
It's not the way they talk about it in sports.
I did not claim to say that I knew math, though. So
Oh man,
for the texter who says that I'm an effing
this
idiot,
is one of our
thank you.
smartest segments we've ever done on this show. You know?
It's like the Shaq and gasoline.
Someone
bit.
says this is trippy. Someone else says, I think I'm having a stroke listening to this. Someone else says, my gosh, guys.
By the way, could you imagine the ratings for this thing? Like, hey guys, what'd you do for 5 minutes on the radio today? Complex math. And you're like, excuse me? Did you like give them a visual or like a whiteboard? You're like, no, just explained math over the air for a few minutes. Hope that's fine.
I was thinking of it in basic terms, not how people do it in sports. And as a result, we do. Gold is right. We do not know sports math the way that you do, Cody, evidently, and anybody else.
Talk about it.
Goodness.
From now on, anytime that we talk about games above 500, I will just shut my mouth.
I understand, Drew, why you were trying to take it that way. It's just how nobody. It's how nobody discusses.
Let's have actually to shore this up, Drew. Since we looks like we'll be able to care about this later on. We'll have you keep track of the magic number for the Royals the rest of the summer.
Anything else? Just the well, that's one number.
With a
one 3-digit number right now, and eventually it'll be a 2-digit.
Someone says,
number.
"Are you guys smarter than a 5th grader?"
We already did
yes,
that once.
we've tried that. We've tried that on the
And
show.
not really.
No.
Apparently, math-wise, no, definitely not. Jeez.
Thanks for the headache, guys. You're welcome.
Sorry. No more math today. That's it.
My head hurts.
Just Alex's request and more sports talk.
Yeah. Up next, we'll get to what's trending. I do have a request for Cody that I hope he actually accepts next.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
There is a back-to-back Super Bowl champion, and it is the Kansas City Chiefs.
On your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Erectile dysfunction affects many men in America today, but it's not just the man who's affected, it's often their partners. But successful treatment of ED can truly bring relationships back to life. This is Jeff, the CEO of Promenic Restorative Men's Health, and that's why I'm pleased to announce the opening of our newest location of Heartland Men's Health right here in North Kansas City. As a Promenic affiliate, Heartland Men's Health is part of a group that has successfully treated tens of thousands of men over the last decade with treatments that are shown in medical studies to be effective in well over 90% of men. And unlike wave therapy groups or online pill sellers, we offer a variety of treatments to get you the results you want. You could even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and now North Kansas City.
Hey guys, it's Rob from The Drive. I became a homeowner about 2 years ago, and now I know the importance of quality when it comes to people working on your home. That's why I love Renewal by Andersen and their replacement windows and doors. They handle every phase of the project for you, From consultation to design to custom building your new windows and doors, all the way through installation and warranty. No middlemen. They are your only point of contact on your project from start to finish. More than 500,000 homeowners recommend Renewal by Andersen. 500,000. And right now, you can become a customer too. Save $325 on every window and $735 on every patio door with interest as low as 4.99% for 10 years. Call by May 31st for that amazing deal. 913-364-0200, 913-364-0200. That's 913-364-0200.
Welcome back. I'm here with Kansas City linebacker Nick Bolton. Nick, what do you look for in a car dealership?
Hands down, someone I can trust.
Then you'll want to come to Smithville Ford.
Didn't it used to be Dave Littleton Ford?
You're so smart, but it's under new management now. 3 times the inventory on new vehicles. And we've modernized and expanded the service department. We can service twice as many vehicles now. Nick, thanks for joining our team.
Be smart. Go to the new Smithfield Ford.
Hi, Kansas City. This is Kevin Harlan. I know being a champion means you're a leader in your field and you always rise above your competition. That's why when summer temperatures get extreme, our home has a Champion air conditioning system that keeps my family comfortable and cool. Get peak performance in your home by finding a local Champion dealer at championhomecomfort.com. Ask about our special financing options with rates as low as 0% and our factory-backed extended parts and labor warranty. Always leading, never compromising, championhomecomfort.com.
Hey Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford in KCK. Get ready for our hail sale at Victory Ford right here at the Legends in KCK. We're slashing prices on new crew cab 4x4 F-150 starting at just $39,988. That's right, hail savings of thousands of dollars on every vehicle. Visit victoryfordkc.com to browse through hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles with hail damage, all discounted thousands of dollars. Remember, at Victory Ford, our first price is better than their last. Victory Ford, where the deals are always legendary.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included with the activation of a Silver Unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Requires in-store activation. Device offer ends 6/9/24. Taxes and fees apply.
Tyler from Wendy's here. The best part of Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is every part. Unlike mornings, which have no good parts. Until now. Because with Wendy's new breakfast Cinnabon Pull-Apart, mornings finally don't completely suck. And now that mornings have warm cinnamon sugar rolled dough and ooey gooey frosting, are they the best part of every day? Probably not, but you get the idea. Get to Wendy's today and get the best part in every bite with the new Cinnabon Pull-Apart.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Cinnabon is a registered trademark of Cinnabon Franchisor SPV LLC.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navient's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save, because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
At T-Mobile, you can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, switch and keep your phone. We'll pay it off up to $800.
Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit service and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
Sponsored by Robert Half.
Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on What's Trending, we now know the Chiefs will host the Baltimore Ravens week 1 of the NFL season. Full schedule to be released Wednesday night at 7:30, but you guys know how this goes. By tomorrow afternoon, we'll probably find out another couple games. Wednesday afternoon, a few more will leak out, but it's nice to know the Chiefs will host the Baltimore Ravens in an AFC title game rematch. It was the last game the Ravens played. Zay Flowers fumbling at the goal line. What a game. What a moment. And they have to relive that leading up to the start of that one. I love that aspect of it.
Put it up on the Jumbotron and make them watch the fumble on the goal line, which, by the way, almost cost the Chiefs a game earlier in that same postseason.
McCole Hardman.
Against himself, and McCole Hardman let the ball go against the Bills. Next up on What's Trending, the Royals start a 3-game set against the Mariners tonight after winning 3 out of 4 against the Angels over the weekend.
Yeah, they're on pace to be 32 games above 500.
The Mariners are currently in first place, as we mentioned, in the AL West. By the way, Drew, I put something to Rob, I think, in a way that makes it make more sense. Rob came in here and at first tried to side with you. He said right now the Royals are 8 games above 500 because they'd have to lose 8 straight games in order to be 500. Then I said, that's the same math for later in the season. If they're 97-65, they'd have to lose 32 consecutive games to be 500. He's like, oh my God, you're right. And then he was back on the right side of things.
Somebody texted in and explained it very well. It's very, very simply put.
Okay.
Thank you for breaking it down. If they have 97 wins, that means they have 65 losses. 97 minus 65 is, guess what? 32. Thank you.
Pretty simple math.
that is what I need. That was the description I needed.
Gold said during the break we should have demanded to call Vern and get his opinion on it. As a baseball
Absolutely
man.
not.
As a true baseball, actually call JJ Piccolo. I'd like the Royals general manager to weigh in on this argument, Settle it once and for all on this show.
Next up on What's Trending, NBA postseason continues. Yesterday, we saw a couple series get evened up. The Knicks were pathetic against the Pacers in a 121-89 loss. You also have the Nuggets even up their series against the Timberwolves, 115-107. So those will pick back up on Tuesday. As for tonight, Boston up 2-1 on the Cavs. That series continues. The late game this evening, it's the Mavericks up 2-1, taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Next up on What's Trending, LeBron James Jr., Bronny, is now expected to stay in the NBA draft, according to multiple reports this morning. There's been a large thought that LeBron's made it very clear. He's going to play in the NBA long enough for at least his son to be in the league at the same time, but he's also making it clear that he wants to play with his son on the same team. So a lot of people are wondering, where does he go in the draft? Because where does he go in the draft could dictate where LeBron James goes, at least on that end. So there's thoughts that the Lakers or the Knicks or some of these other teams interested in LeBron James could try to coax Bronny James into forcing his way to be drafted by that team, or at least getting on one of those squads.
Local soccer over the weekend. Both teams were at home. Sporting Kansas City, though, Saturday night fell to the Houston Dynamo 2-1. They have been dreadful, specifically in the second half, with the Peter Vermees-led Sporting KC. And then on Sunday night, last night, Mother's Day, great crowd once again out at CPKC Stadium. The KC Current got the win against North Carolina. They stay undefeated at home. They are in first place in the NWSL.
Next up on What's Trending, don't forget to head on out to the George Toma Wiffle Ball Field. As you well know, we've been out there for Wiffle at the Hollow a couple of different times. Well, tomorrow at the corner of 52nd and Warren in the Brookside area from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., you can see how many home runs you can hit. They'll have prizes. They have a trophy typically as well, all to raise money for the Battle Within. As you know, we've been out at that event multiple years in a row. It is truly a remarkable thing to put a wiffle ball field in the middle of the neighborhood and everyone be on board. Great field, great organization to support. You got 30 seconds to try to slug as many home runs as you can. Like the most Alex and I did. I think I got like a couple out in 30 seconds one time. So beat us at the very least and head out there from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. There'll be a wiffle ball game a little bit later on there. Maybe on your lunch break. Head out there, try to win a few prizes, and support the Battle Within.
We'll remind you tomorrow as well. We'll check in with Mitch Holtis, who will be out there supporting the event tomorrow. 52nd and Warnell. Go slug some home runs, go raise some money, win some prizes. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. We got sidetracked by the math conversation and over 500 and all that. And Drew has said he will take charge of the magic number. And someone quickly pointed out there's already a Twitter account that does it every day for you. So
all I have to do is watch it.
So we'll have Drew. We'll
right,
check in with the magic number. I think just on the surface, honestly, there's that speaks to where the Royals are at. Like, what do you mean they're pacing for 32 games above 500? And that's how good they are this year. That's what's startling.
Because they were 50 games below 500 last year. That seems like a pretty significant switch.
Yeah, to say they're pacing for 32 games above 500 sounds nuts. That was, it really does.
It does. But that's where they're at. That's how good of a baseball team they've been.
I said, though, I wanted to request something. I made the request earlier.
You did.
Some of
Remind
you
the audience.
may have caught that.
I want to sit back and soak in this moment. This might be the only chance I get on this show.
That's right. I said I have a request for Cody with some stipulations. I said it has to be fulfilled this week if he takes it on. And if he takes on said request, then if he doesn't, he cannot do it for a different player later on. So my request is a song for Nelson Velasquez, who has been struggling. Now, the last 2 games, he actually had a couple of hits. But this week, a Nelson Velasquez song, I already provided you with some music that a DJ friend of ours had sent us a couple weeks ago. Nelly, of course. And so it fits. Little Nelly for Nelly, Velasquez, perfect.
Not sure what it's going to be yet.
You've said your songs have worked for all these others. I want you to put it to the test for Velasquez, who's been struggling. We saw the home run power last year. Right now, this year, he's been struggling. You've done songs for Maikel Garcia, top of the order guy, MJ Melendez, Bobby Wood Jr., Vinny. These are all players that are pretty much solidified in the lineup.
You're saying that I wasn't testing myself.
You need to do it for Velasquez, who potentially could one day be in danger of being sent down soon. I think now you got to do the song before he gets sent down, unless you're just not a fan of his. But
no, I like Nelson Velasquez.
So it needs to be this week, though. Time is running out. And you can't do a song next week for him. It has to be this week.
So I haven't rerun the numbers. And you're correct. I'm 3 for 3. I put out a tweet this weekend of the 10 games before and the 10 games post-song for all 3 players. Vinny before was hitting 108, no home runs, no RBIs. After 441, 4 homers, 11. Maikel was hitting 103, no extra base hits, 4 RBI. After 333 with 3 extra base hits and 8 RBI. And MJ, at the time I'd run the numbers, it was only 7 complete games. He's now since played, I think, 9 complete games. 333 with no homers, but 5 extra base hits.
Yeah.
So, way more than he'd had to this point. So you're challenging me to essentially test, look, I'll be honest. Doing one for Nelson Velasquez is scary because it feels like there's a decent chance he's not going to stay up on the major league roster.
But I thought it works. I thought the song works. I think this has to happen.
It does work. The proof is in the numbers. I got to listen to some songs. Can I tell you if I agreed to it by tomorrow? I need to listen to a few songs before I can decide.
A lot of people are upset with me for even requesting this because they know my feelings about the songs.
Someone says, you're dead to me. How could you?
I think
from the 913.
I really think, though, if you turn this down,
I'm a coward. I'm running from the fight.
Well,
That's what you're claiming?
That, but also, then in 3 weeks from now, you can't do a Velasquez song. This is the week. This is the week.
You're
this
saying
is the week.
If I'm not doing a Velasquez song now, then just stay out of the game.
Correct.
For him.
Yes. So exactly.
Okay. So how about this? How about something in exchange? I do a Velasquez song and it works, and you owe me something.
Oh, so now we're bargaining.
Look at
this.
You owe this show something. You don't think this can work. You're what we would call a non-believer. So I think that if you're a non-believer, you should do something for this show if he comes through.
Okay.
He starts hitting. Homers flying out of the park.
That'd be something.
I'm a little bit fearful because, what if he gets another hit today? Then he's got a 3-game hitting streak going.
But it's good news for you. Then he's already rolling.
Yeah, a little bit, but I also don't feel like
he's already rolling at that point.
Well, unless he does the song and then it
gets worse. He goes back to not hitting.
Yeah,
That's the opposite effect. But if he goes 0 for tonight, then it doesn't matter. I have to get the song done soon. I agree with you in this regard. But if I'm going to do this, I can do it pretty quick. I've turned songs around, I think, in about 48 hours, maybe 20. I think one time I turned around one in 24 hours, but that's pretty tight.
Well, I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm thinking Thursday or Friday, Cody. I'm thinking
the Maikel one quickly, didn't you?
Pretty quick. Yeah.
Few lyrics though you admitted on that one. It's like Thursday or Friday.
I didn't have to change some of the things he says in there, like "You bring me sunshine on a cloudy day." I don't know. I mean, that line just plays.
Someone says if the song works, I have to donate the statue of my statue to the garage sale.
You have to give the gold statue.
Fine.
At least give me that. I'll think if there's others. I need to.
Someone else says take a Twin Peaks girl on a date. Well, that's a callback to Drew. and his scenic views.
I'm not going to do that though. So
What
you
is
have to go in the place.
Are you? You got to pick a
Drew's
side
not a
here for
hater.
the bet too. Are you? You got to get involved. So are you supporting the song getting done this week, or are you on Cody's side? Where are you at?
Oh
here?
no, I think I'm in support of getting the song done this week. I think.
Okay.
Yes.
Someone says do the song Not Like Us. It's the ~1 streamed song in a week in Spotify history. I'll be honest. I am partially responsible. I have listened to that song 10 times. It's so good. But
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
the rewrite on that would take me 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you know how many lyrics he squeezes in? I know he did it in a night or whatever. He's Kendrick Lamar. But like the rewrite on that alone would take me sometimes we joke on the show. I'm not even kidding. I have a legit process. And I can't do that while we're on the air. To agree to this song, I need tonight to decide if something feels right. Because part of it is, it feels right. I hear songs and it feels right. God, this is it's such a good song. I can hear it in my head. But I can't, what, 20% of the lyrics? How much can I not sing here, Drew?
We were going through Nelly. We were going through
30%.
We were going through Nelly's catalog
minor. I can sing that, I guess.
It makes sense to go through Nelly's catalog, and tie it in with Nelly.
Maybe.
Nelly Velasquez.
Some good options.
I'm considering some other artists. I don't want to limit myself to just Nelly. Seems like just doing Hot in Here is a little too
Which
easy.
Nelly though? Because somebody suggested Nelly Furtado as well.
Yeah.
So there's 2.
Promiscuous.
Honest to God.
Promiscuous. I don't know.
I don't know what I'm changing the word promiscuous to.
I feel like you gotta
is
keep
a
it.
huge part of the problem there.
Yeah. Doesn't give you a lot of flexibility with that song.
Promiscuous is a very specific word. If you're going to replace that word, it has to sound right. Like right number of syllables, right soft S sounding at the end of it. It can have no flexibility in the sounding correctly. Someone says, don't go back to the minors.
Whoa.
I did not like that song. Oh, my God. Oh, God, it'd be so funny.
In all honesty, that's a really good suggestion.
Batter up.
That's such a great line for that.
That's a good suggestion.
The minors. Oh, look, that would be incredible.
Damn.
God, but it also feels like I'm kind of digging at the dude. I'm trying to
Encourage. The whole point is to encourage.
Yeah, we're on the side. Like, we've supported MacArthur. I've supported MJ, supported Michael. This has been a great year, and I think appropriately so, in supporting these young Royals and this team and having more success. I'm not trying to hurt them emotionally. I'm trying to prop them up.
With Nelson.
Yeah, I don't need to write Nelson. I'm not covering a diss track for Nelson Velasquez.
Correct.
That would be if I wanted him off the team. I don't want him off the team. I just want him to hit well on the team. Those are different.
built different.
I say that word.
You did. When did you say that?
I say that.
He built different.
I don't remember. Did I say about him?
I don't know about. No, not about him. I don't know who that was about.
He built
I
different.
think that was during football season.
A lot of people are having suggestions. Give me any suggestions for any songs. I'll say this. The Nelson part of it, or saying Nelly or Nelson, is a lot easier to put into a song than Velasquez.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do Nelly. Something with Nelly, probably.
To put his full last name into a song is a much bigger challenge. Not that it can't be done, but I just I have to hear certain types of songs, and then eventually one hits me in a particular
Is there a
way.
genre though that you're wanting to go with this time? Is it
the
a
only
little bit
genre I
different?
think I haven't done is country, so I guess I could do Willie Nelson. Does that count? Nelson
yeah.
Velasquez, Willie Nelson. Is there maybe a little something there, a little juice on that?
What
end?
was it? Someone suggested the
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw, Nelly.
Tim McGraw,
combo.
Nelly. Just that's a little slower pace than you usually like, though.
The Willie Nelson.
Well, sure.
The Tim McGraw one.
Tim McGraw, but yeah, it could be Will. Yeah.
Some of my let's see. Here's the problem. I have steered away from the slow song since I did the Suckiest. I did one slow song, and the R&B one worked, right? Like everybody liked One More Win.
And again, that was a Boyz II Men ripoff.
Yeah, but when I did the Suckiest, that one bombed so bad on this show. I don't think I've done a slow song since. So I've never done country. I've done pop.
There's a popular
rap.
Willie Nelson one that you would know.
What's that one?
I can't wait to get on the road again.
But again, this feels like I'm sitting into Omaha.
Yeah, we don't want that. Yeah, that's we can't do that.
So no?
Don't get on the road again?
Yeah, that's negative.
It feels too negative. Like, don't get on the road again.
Yeah.
And I'm just asking him to hit.
Maybe you can flip it though. I don't know.
On
I'm
the
sure
right path.
there
Can you
are
do
other
something with
options.
like on the path again? On the get the bat on. Is there something there? Otherwise, it seems too much like you're saying. Get on the road to Omaha. Like it's just the reverse. Can't live without your love and affection by Willie Nelson.
Always on My Mind by Willie Nelson.
Well, then it's another Cody Love song. Yeah.
I will say it sounds like he's more on your mind, Gold, since you want the song made.
Well, no, this is about writing it for someone that is not already a mainstay in the lineup.
Someone said that Willie Nelson song, hitting bombs again. I can't wait for you to hit bombs again.
That could work. That could work.
That's not way off base.
That could work.
A lot of good choices. Look, the text line comes through sometimes. Somebody suggested My Girl like a week before we did it. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was cycling through like 8 different songs. I thought I had decided on a song, and then My Girl came back up again, and upon listening to it several times, it hit. It was a success.
So it was ambiguous for promiscuous.
Ambiguous?
But how does that work for the song?
How does that work for promoting Nelson Velasquez?
Ambiguous.
No,
Like, it just doesn't work. It just says-
ambiguous boy. No, that sounds like more about Drew's Twin Peaks video than anything else.
Yeah.
Nelson Velasquez is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'll keep taking your suggestions. You can hit me up on Twitter at CodyBTab. I'm open, but I have to hear some songs before I can decide.
Fantastic.
It has to strike me in a particular way.
Let's just breathe.
Imagine
this one?
Cody doing this one. A lot slower.
With the harmonica?
I don't think I could. Can I learn harmonica?
You can leave that part in, you know.
There's so many suggestions on the text line. I appreciate
I
your
need you to
guys'
try to sing like Willie Nelson too when you.
And well, I'll try to get some twang in there. I mean, if I'm singing country, might as well. Everything. I'll try. There's no doubt about it. Again, this is all part of it. I will sometimes to make sure that it sounds right. I'll record my voice just like over them singing it, just to make sure I can like somewhat tone match, right? Like be in the ballpark.
Cody's gonna do every little thing's gonna be all right for Nelly. Just encouraging. It's gonna be all right. That's what someone said. Bob Marley.
Because every little
thing's gonna be all right.
That's a good one. All right.
Uh-huh.
Now, I've never done that version of a song, but someone's mentioning a Hootie and the Blowfish song too. I'd have to hear that one. Do you know "Hold My Hand" by Hootie and the Blowfish? Can we play that on the air, Drew?
I was.
Take a chance. Just play it. I mean, if
Yeah, the dump button. You know, I'm sure the boss loves that.
What
Hootie
is
and
it
the
again?
Blowfish doesn't seem like "Hold My Hand" by Hootie and the Blowfish. That doesn't seem like the band that would be overly risky to just like.
Sounds like you. It sounds
play
like
on the air.
you are.
I'm open to it, but I really do need to hear some songs to make sure something feels right. Maybe that's why it works. I trust my
There we
gut.
Oh, it's a great song. I love this song.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
I like this song.
I don't know how they're getting Velasquez in this.
I don't want Cody to sing this song. I like this song. It's gonna ruin this song for me. I don't want to have that. I mean, because someone pointed out the wedding. There was a song, and My Girl was playing at a wedding, and they could only think of Michael the whole wedding. I don't
man,
want to ruin songs.
You don't want that Hootie and the Blowfish song. Will you ever be able to hear Despacito the same way again?
No, that's ruined.
That's
ruined.
what I told you.
I mean, it's the same thing. Even with from the
That happened to
band,
me.
even with Creed. I mean, that song, like I can never hear that song for the rest of my life.
No, that'll never be
Right?
able to hear
I
that
mean,
song.
like that's.
Not all songs are. How about that Ben Folds song? You think they'll be able to hear that in the same way?
Someone on the text line, Gold, you better get back at the morning show for dogging you this morning. You'll have to tell me. I have no idea. That's news. I don't know.
Okay, now I am about to write a Kendrick Lamar track. That's different. I can do that next week.
Someone will have to fill me in. I actually am not aware. I really don't. I have no idea.
I forget.
Fill me in on details, text line.
What were you wanting to write a diss about last week, Cody? I know that you brought
concession
it up.
guy.
Oh,
he put Coke Zero in there, so we're good. He didn't want the smoke. He put some Coke Zero in there last
Maybe he was
Friday.
out of stock, and he actually had to get. They were out of stock of the. Remember, we read the article, Coke Zero shortage or whatever.
He didn't want the smoke.
He heard you could be coming out with a diss track and turn into J. Cole real quick. You know what? It's fine.
Although I saw
is that beef almost over here between?
Drake said he's getting ready to release a new song.
It's been
at some point.
4 or 5
I thought
days now since
the
release.
bodyguard getting shot was going to end this thing.
It's usually when beefs just start.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean,
apparently that wasn't even that was not by Kendrick's people either.
Well,
that
I didn't mean it was by Kendrick, but just that some. Yeah,
it was by the Weeknd.
I wasn't
people,
suggesting
apparently.
that Kendrick Lamar had somebody shot.
Sometimes the things that I get myself caught up in tracking, I'm like, what have I done here? Like you and I were both describing all the outfits for the Eras tour for Taylor Swift this past weekend in Paris, because you and I both
Travis
know it.
Kelce was there.
Yes, and it was the 87th concert, and she was wearing red and gold and the whole thing. and this whole Kendrick Lamar thing. I'm fascinated by it. Fascinated by the beef. I've been completely locked in. Someone said they were in the morning show talking about your athletic ability.
Oh, well, that goes without saying. That goes without saying.
You can fight back, but
that goes without saying. That's why I said the hot dog derby win. I'm retiring on top. I won the hot dog derby race. It's over.
I'm racing every year until I win.
There you go.
Just let me know when you want me back out.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Drew and you and
Let
somebody
me race
else.
Bobby. How about that? You know?
That might be an option this year. The Race Bobby, if you haven't been out at the K, they have a new little thing they do on the video board where they have like an animated Bobby racing and you try to finish.
It's kind of like the freeze.
Yeah.
You
It's the
start
same
before him, but he's going to smoke.
Yeah, it turns out they're not going to let Bobby every night have to race a fan.
That would be hilarious.
In the middle of the
He
game.
just stretches and you're like, oh my God, Bobby Turner's going to give me the smoke.
That'd be
here for a minute.
intimidating.
All right, well, tomorrow we'll get the answer. The offer, the request was sent out to you. I expect an answer tomorrow, Cody. One way or the other.
But okay.
Tomorrow we're back at it with that. We'll also have Jake Eisenberg, who's out in Seattle calling some Royals baseball. Of course, one of the voices of the Royals. Hear him on 610. He's going to join us. We'll talk a little bit about what Pro Football Focus is saying about the most underrated player on the Chiefs. Talk to you guys then.